Okay, perfect. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get this. Let's go ahead and get this thing started, though. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. I appreciate you once again. Like I said, this class here is called "A Veil Has Lifted: Ancient Prophecies and Shadow Work." So we always begin the class. Anytime we begin the class, we start with meditation. I like to start with what I call, well, what's known as breath work meditation. It's something very simple. It's just to get everybody energy into the same space. Uh, and it just kind of relax everybody, kind of gets you into that vibration or into that mood. But we begin that by, I'm just going to walk you through it real quick. So it's just very simple. We just, stretch a bit, get yourself relaxed, get your body relaxed, get into a mind state of learning, a mind state of getting your own insights, not just listening to me, getting your own insights from these things that we're going to be talking about here, getting it's something that's going to be speaking directly to you based on your life, because there's a reason why you're here at this moment. So just get into that mind state, stretch your body a bit. If you do got to stand up during the time, that's good to do as well. Just begin by stretching your neck, getting relaxed. You know what I mean? Sometimes we just got to get them kinks out. You know what I mean? Get those kinks out, especially you getting a little bit older, that body. But you got to get the body relaxed in order for the mind to be at ease. So here we go. Just go ahead, just stretch it out a bit. So we're going to begin with the meditation. I'm going to walk you through it. So it's just very simple. We're just going to be breathing in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to be holding it. 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. 4, 3, 2, 1. Repeat. Breathe in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. 3, 2, 1. Now do it on your own pace. I'm going to do it as well. All right, all right. Okay, okay. I hope everybody feel a little bit more relaxed. I hope everybody kind of getting back into the mode now, getting into the mode. So I appreciate you all again participating in that. And we call that box breathing, by the way. Box breathing. And you can use that at any time. Anytime you're feeling off, use that life force energy within you, that breath, that air, that oxygen that's here naturally that keeps us going. All right, all right. So here we go. Now, this is just basically the summary of the class. This is my idea of how I wanted the class to break down. I want to start at a macro level. At a macro level, I want to look at it as the bigger picture, the cosmos, the heavens, the the bigger aspect of reality, the collective consciousness. We're gonna start there, and then we're gonna work this down into where we're going into the micro. And that's where the shadow work aspect comes in. That's where our work comes in, our individual work. See, me, I'm always preaching about the self, the knowledge of the self, the understanding of the self. But we have to understand the times that we're in on a collective cosmic level because we're living on this earth at this very time for a reason. So knowing what time it is makes it even easier for you to get an understanding of your purpose, possibly your role, um, what's going on, what's happening, because it looks like chaos, which it is. We're in a chaotic time, and that's something that we're going to learn through these prophecies. But at the same time, you always have that godhood within inside of you. And if you follow me, you know I'm going to speak about God. I'm going to speak about the universe. I'm going to speak on metaphysical terms. So your understanding of it, take it for how you want to because that's a sensitive subject. But if you pay for this and you follow me, you already know what time. You already know what we bringing. You already know how we coming. So, like I say, this is we're going to begin with the macro aspect of it, and then we're going to move down into the micro level of it. And that's the beauty of this. I want to begin it with this. This is a post that I posted earlier. Some of you may have seen it. You can't stop this awakening because it's happening on a cosmic level. Some people may laugh and want the old way, and that still exists as well. However, for the evolved beings, we are individually working on ourselves, healing from past traumas, finding out what it means to be human and gaining a deeper connection with our souls and elevating our minds. This ancient prophecy is taking place in real time, and many choose to stay asleep. I wanted to begin with is see the different teachers I'm going to be going into. We're going to be going into Carl Jung when we speak on Carl Jung when we speak on the shadow work, and I'm going to send you the PDF for that book. We're going to also be looking into the sleeping prophet, known as Edgar Casey. These are all metaphysical looks at this. And I wanted to begin with my book, Mind Alignment 2.0, with what we call a global wake up call. See, currently we are witnessing a fast movement of change worldwide. It may look like chaos, but look at it with a spiritual eye, and we are right on time. See, this is a time of transition, and we are here to help humanity ascend in consciousness, but most of us just see the chaos. The way we work is changing, and people are working from home and becoming entrepreneurs. The money systems are changing. You see all the cryptocurrency and other financial changes. We rarely even use cash. It is all turning digital. People are now searching for new answers to old problems, asking questions about reality and going more profound than they were programmed to think. We see more people turning to alternative healing methods, eating more healthy. We see more talk about financial freedom and owning businesses. Think of how crazy the year 2020 was. Everything shifted in 2020. Despite all that occurred, we are still here. And many of us have a call to duty in this spiritual warfare. We are here to help with the shift of consciousness of this planet. This time is what we incarnated on earth to do. Everything you have gone through has led you to this point. Many of you have had a hard time on this plane of existence because you've had a bigger purpose. You probably got laughed at or called crazy. All that we have been saying has come to pass. Step into your power and embody the natural urge to reject the old ways. You can no longer accept the programming of an old system. It is the wake up call, and it is crucial at this time in history. A global wake up call. As I said at the beginning, we're going to begin this at the macro level. So we're going to begin with what they call the Age of Aquarius. The Age of Aquarius is known as the astrological era believed to bring transformative shifts in humanity's collective consciousness and societal structures. In astrology, ages are based on 2150 year cycles. That's very important. See, like I said, we're going to go into the astrology of it, but we're going to more so stay on the metaphysical. But the ages, we're going to be talking about the ages. The ages are based on a 2150 year cycle, and each of those are associated with a different zodiac sign. This is known as what we call the precision of the equinox. Everybody good? Everybody good? Everybody still with me? Everybody still with me? Okay, perfect. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So we're going into the precision of the equinox. The precision of the equinox. Now, one of the great books that you can look into, or I'm sorry, not books, but one of the great movies that you can look into is a documentary. It's a free documentary on, and I'll put this in the email that I'll send you all, but it's a free documentary called The Great Year, on YouTube, narrated by the late ancestor James Earl Jones. And they talk about the precision of the equinox. Now, the precision of the equinox is ancient. This goes back thousands of years. And this goes back to a time where they weren't supposed to even understand the way that the stars moved, the way that the equinoxes move. But many of their structures in these times, and we're going to go over these different cultures that had these times, they had structures in alignment perfectly with celestial aspects of space, star systems. They were able to map out these different time frames in the precision of an equinox. The precision of the equinox refers to the gradual shift in Earth's orientation as it spins on its axis. Now, this is the deeper part of it. These are the deeper parts of it, like I said. But it's very important to even know these names and these aspects to be able to tell what time we're in now. So this movement, which takes roughly about 26,000 years to complete, changes the position of the Earth relative to the stars in the zodiacs over a millennia. I'm sorry. Now, one full cycle of the precision of the equinox, it goes through each of the 12 zodiac signs, like the age of which we're currently in, the age of Pisces, and then the age of Aquarius. And each of these last roughly 2100. Like, these numbers are different because based on which which text you're looking at, which we'll talk about. It all depends on that. But roughly 2100 years on each one of these zodiac signs. Now you may say, what does that got to do with anything? What does that mean for me? What is that, what does space got to do with this? Now, the thing that got me when I was looking up these information, because I'm not too much into astrology too much. I got my own astrologer that does help me out and tell me different things, because I do believe in that movement, the celestial movements affecting your life. But what got me was the fact that these different cycles, or these different ages, we should say, play a role in human consciousness. It plays a role in our level of understanding. It plays a role in our understanding of self, our understanding of our godhood. Now, this may make more sense of why it's hard for us to figure out ways of the old, ancient civilizations being able to do things that we can't even do today. Could it be because of the consciousness? Could it be of the level that we're on? Could it be because we have been programmed to think a certain way? Could it be that we're being bombarded by so many different adversarial forces trying to stop us? That could be the reason. Now, that tells us is that As the earth shifts, we shift. See, this has been a vocal point in both ancient and modern astrological and spiritual studies, with many believing that each age brings distinct energies that influence consciousness. You still with me? Y'all still with me? Y'all still with me? I told you we are going to the macro first. We're going to the macro, then we're going to the micro. I thank you, Jenny. I thank you. Now, if I throw on my shades, don't feel disrespected. Sometimes I go into my zone. Y'all know how it is. Vibrate so high. It's nothing disrespectful. Sometimes I like to close my eyes and let the energy flow and let the spirit speak. So if I do throw the glasses on, you know what it is. If you have any questions, all right, just making sure y'all know. Okay, so the mechanisms behind the precision, we'll go there. We're gonna go there now. Earth's precision is caused by gravitational forces from the moon, the sun, to lesser extinct other planets. As Earth rotates, it wobbles slightly, like a spinning top. And the wobble alters the position of the celestial equator relative to the constellations, gradually shifting the location of the equinox. Yeah, go to the chat box. We talking to each other the whole time. We vibing. We on the same vibe. So um the wobble alters the position of the celestial equator relative to the constellations, gradually shifting the location of the equinoxes. Every year, the spring equinox, which currently occurs around March 21st, moves about 50 arc seconds westward along the uh, elliptic. That's the astrology. Let's keep going because we're here for the effects on mankind and the consciousness. So now let's look at the effects on mankind and consciousness with this. So many spiritual traditions and esoteric teachings propose that each zodiac age exerts a different influence on human consciousness, often aligning with cultural shifts. That's that paradigm that we talk about. That's that collective consciousness that we're talking about. That's that changes that I was talking about the global wake up call. Those are the changes that we're seeing on a collective level. Everything looks so different, and they say that during these different ages, things begin to change. Some of these effects might include uh, a spiritual awakening with and a collective consciousness level. With each age, it's a shift in collective consciousness that aligns with the symbolic qualities of the age's zodiac signs. So, for example, let's give an example here, so we'll be on the same page with it. The age of Pisces. Now, the age of Pisces, which they say that we're currently in, going into the age of Aquarius, it's often associated with like religious movements, patriarch, things of that nature. The time of I see it all the time on social media. People always say it's the age of belief and not the age of no. And we're going into the age of knowing, having our own understanding instead of the age of belief. During these times, it was religious movements, it was government systems, it's things that played a role in our we looked outside of ourselves more during these times. Now we're going into that age where we're looking more within ourselves. Now it's always been there. See, that's the thing about it. It doesn't matter which age that we're in, because that godhood is still within you. But this age was more of a patriotic war mindset, a conquer. You lived it. We've lived it. We've lived both sides of it. That's why we're in a transition period. If you're here now and you're anywhere near my age, you seen both. For me personally, I seen the shift of people getting a deeper understanding and looking into different things, including myself. Mine goes back almost 15, 16 years, just to kind of go into a personal spiritual awakening that I had with this type of information and these type of downloads that I've been getting lately. This goes back 15, 16 years. 15, 16 years of searching and just feeling within myself like it's got to be more. I took classes like this. Now I'm teaching the classes. So I understand and I still go to classes. I still learn. I learn from you all as well. But I used to I seen this shift within myself. Now that's what we're going to correlate a lot of this to. The shift that you see on the outside has a lot of correlations to the shift that you have within yourself. It's a lot of changes that's happening. It's a lot of changes, and if you have your third eye open, you can see those things. But that's what we've lived through. Now, the shift to the age of Aquarius is often seen as a time of awakening and enlightenment, with the focus on things like technology, a deeper understanding of yourself, and even an individuality of your mindset and your understanding of your reality, and then also community and love and compassion and empathy. Things of this nature are associated with the age of Aquarius. Now we just getting in there now. We can't expect it. This is a like someone said to me one time. They said, we're on a generational journey. You may not even see the work that you're putting in, and you have to be fine with that. You may be planting seeds for trees that you may never feel that shade. Then that's not nothing to be sad about. This is part of our role. This is what we're here for at this time, and you're making sure of that. You're making sure of that by learning yourself and taking classes like this and getting a deeper understanding and stepping out of the matrix for a moment and hearing this kind of information and being amongst people that understand you. All of this is part of our journey, and we're yeah, like those that came before us, right? Like these people that I'm researching, they're gone. I said James Earl Jones for one. That the Great Year was the name of that documentary. James Earl Jones. He's no longer here. I'm going into Edgar Casey. He's no longer here. Carl Young. He's no longer here. Dolores Cannon. They're no longer here. But we're here and we're getting this information and we're building on it. And we're at a very crucial time in history. Anybody can see that. Let's get back into it. So during these times, you'll see transformation of the belief systems as the precision of the equinox ushers in a new age. You hear new age a lot. You hear new age. It's not really a new age. It's nothing new under the sun, which is more so bringing ancient practices back to the forefront because we're spinning. We're wobbling, we're changing. And when we change, we go back to those things of the old. We can never figure out how they did so many things because they weren't like us. We're in a battle zone. We're in a whole nother level, and let's keep going because I'll keep building. Some of this stuff is my notes. Some of this is just me just speaking through spirit and just bringing it down. But yeah, that's why a lot of times we can't figure out how they built the pyramids. A lot of times we can't figure out how they know these different things. They weren't eating like us. They weren't programmed like us. They didn't have certain things that's going on. Of course, it was problems, but when you look at the age of Aquarius, when you look at it on a macro level, when you look at it on a cosmic level, the way that we're going to break it down in a moment. You'll see that's why we can't figure it out. They're not like us. We're evolving and back into that, but we're not like that based on this, which doesn't make us bad. It makes us strong. It makes us the warriors. It makes us the path layers, the way showers. That's what it makes us. So it's nothing bad, but it's not sweet at all. Pioneers. That's right, Solomon. I love that. Love that. And we pioneers. We're pioneers. So as we do the transformation of belief systems, as the precision of the equinoxes ushers in a new age, belief systems and societal values may shift. Societal values, pay attention to it. Things that people used to be able to get away with, they can't get away with it now. Things that people used to look past, we're not looking past no more. You know what I mean? Look at the celebrities. Look at the things that's being exposed, and we're going to get into those things as well. and letting us know what time we in, letting us know what vibration we on, what frequency we're on. We on the frequency of exposure. Cat Williams said 2024 was going to bring it all. We're not really worried about the year because it's been going on, but as you can see, these things are ushering in of a change. Hmm. It's an evolution of inner knowledge and self-awareness. Many believe that during this precision, humanity undergoes a gradual increase in self-awareness, understanding of spiritual concepts, and a knowledge of self. This can lead to breakthroughs in how we understand the mind, the subconscious mind, and the connections between all things. We have an understanding that we have a power here. We always thought we were always trained, most people in these systems, like you say, misinformation, distractions, broken history, lies, deceit. These things were fed to us, and we had to find our way through it, and we still find our way to this knowledge. These are esoteric topics. These at one point were considered hidden topics that we're talking about now, that the ancients would study every day. This was even considered to some as forbidden knowledge. Okay. So once again, changes in societal structures. Each age coincides with changes in societal structures such as governments, science, philosophy. You transition from the age of Pisces to the Aquarius is seen as a shift away from hierarchical structures like celebrities, or you got this money so you could do whatever you want to do. You at this level, you better than us. These type of things are breaking down. These structures are breaking down right in front of our face. You can tell it's cosmic, just of the amount that's happening, just of the and when you look out at it, you can see through the illusions. Some people still asleep. It's all depends on you and what's your perspective. And we're going to talk about that too. But okay, so in summary, the precision of the equinox, that's the first macro. Like I said, the precision of the equinox is seen not only as a physical phenomenon, but also as a metaphysical cycle, influencing our spiritual evolution as humanity. Each age is believed to bring specific lessons and transformations. Like we say, we living in a time of lessons and transformations through these lessons. These phases of enlightenment, self-realization, and higher awareness. So that's one aspect of the precision of the equinox. Let's keep that in mind. That's one part of the macro. We're going to continue on. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all once again. I appreciate y'all. So now let's go into what they know as the Yuga cycles. We're going to talk about the Yuga cycles. That's going to be the first. Like I said, we're going to go into these different cultures that had these different beliefs, and we're going to tie it all together to see, hey, what does this mean for these times? For these times, we laying the foundation. We're laying the foundation. All right. So the Yuga cycles. Now, this is a Vedic system. Hinduism, things like that. This is where we're gonna begin at. Now, some of these names I might throw it off, but of course, you can look it up. And like I said, I'm going to give you all this information. Once we go and get into the books, I'm going to share my screen so we can show it. We're going to go into Edgar Casey's interpretation of Revelations. That's the part that I really want to get into, the Revelations interpretation with Edgar Casey, because he interpreted it not as a doomsday, but more so of a transformation that man's soul goes through. So it's some interesting points in that book, and I'm just gonna pretty much just read through it with you all. But we're gonna start at the Yuga cycles. This is spelled Yuga. Yuga. Okay, so In the yuga in yuga cycles, this describes as a vast cosmic cycle, a repeating sequence of ages in which humanity's spiritual, moral, and physical state and falls, rises and falls. So instead, like when we looked at history when we were in class, we were taught history was going to be in a line, right? We were always told that history was going to be, if that happened in the past, they were ancient. Like they don't know nothing. They were primitive. They don't know what we know now. We got iPhones. We got technology. Yeah, we know these things. So we were always taught that that was old, but we were looking at it in a short-sighted view. We weren't looking at it in the macro. Yeah, if you look at 1864 and you look at now, yeah, of course you're going to say, okay, they didn't have a TV, they didn't have this technology. But that's nothing on a cosmic level. These 100 years marks and things like that, that's nothing on a cosmic level. So when we begin to look at humanity with the rise and the fall, then we start understanding like, oh, we away from our true nature as we fall and we rise, as we fall and we rise. And that's what a lot of these other traditions teach about time, instead of looking at it in a line. Like that's why when you look back, I'm gonna keep saying that. That's why when you look back at the ancient times and you look at the pyramids and you say, how did they get that pyramid up there? How did they do that? You realize that they did that because they not like us. They not like us. And if we go even deeper with time, of course, it doesn't exist in these things and everything's happening at once. But that's not what this class is about. We're gonna stick to what we're on. So cycles, ages. That's the way we look at time, up and down. We at a high point, we come down. We at a high point, we come down, and each one teaches a lesson and causes transformation. Now, okay, so the first one, the first age. Now, like I said, they going into the cosmic level. The first age is called Yuga. If I'm saying it wrong, you know I'm gonna spell it Satya Yuga, Yuga, also known as the Golden Age. As the Golden Age. Now, these numbers like I said, these different traditions, different numbers, but they say that the duration of the golden age is 1.728 million years. We're looking at the cosmic level, everyone. We're looking at the cosmic level. Appreciate you, Sovereign. We're looking at the cosmic level, the golden age. The characteristics of this age is an age of truth, purity, and spiritual enlightenment. Virtue and righteousness were at their peak. So maybe when we look at these history lessons and we say, how did they do that? How did they live that long? See where I'm going with that? How did they live that long? What is this that we're seeing? It's a different age, a different cycle, a different level of consciousness, of understanding. So the age of truth, purity, and spiritual enlightenment, virtue and righteousness were at their peak, and people lived long, peaceful, and spiritually connected lives. Knowledge of the self and of divine truth is complete. The humanity exists in harmony with the universe. So if we go back to these times, if we go back, we look at history, we try to look at 6,000 years ago. I mean, come on now, like really, like we know the earth is older than that. We just, unaware of a lot of things that happen because things get destroyed as we go on that up and down. We go on that up and down. We changing forms and, you know, okay. Now, don't, we stood firmly on, in our morals and our spiritual stability. Okay, now that's the golden age. So once again, that's at the top. We at the top of the golden age. We in the golden age. People was living in truth, spiritual enlightenment. That's what we knew. We ain't having adversaries. Then we go down a little bit. Okay, now we go into the Treta Yuga. This is spelled Treta, also known as the Silver Age. Silver Age. So the duration of this was 1.296 million years. During this time, humanity retains a high level of spirituality still. You know, we lost a couple of steps though. We lost a couple of steps. But some decline in virtue begins. Some decline in virtue. Now this is Vedic text, like I'm saying. These is coming from the Vedic text. Um, some of the virtue was on the decline. This era sees the beginnings of structure in society as people develop things like, we need things now like rituals and spiritual practices to retain purity. We start seeing conflicts emerging. Things start happening, but people still live a long and fulfilling life. Now let's think about that for a moment. Let's think about where we're at now. So in the golden age, you're at the highest level. You don't need certain things. You don't need you don't need to meditate every day. You don't need to do spiritual practice. You don't need these rituals. You don't need this doctrine. You in tune. You one with the God, one with God. You one with the universe. You connected to it all at the golden age, from what they're saying here. And I'm speaking on these texts because it can kind of show you even an evolution in yourself. But now we have to pray every day. We have feel with worry. We feel with we have to do our spiritual practices, or we're going to be bombarded. We know we have to keep ourselves up. We have to keep our vibration up. We have to look at motivational videos. We have to be in this, you know what I mean? Because we're being bombarded. We're being hit with so much. Now, let's get back to it though. The Trader Yoga, also known as the Silver Age. So the Silver Age, this is where, thank you, Jenny. The Silver Age is where, like we were saying, the conflicts start to emerge, but people still living good. Everybody chilling. But hold up now. Hold up. I'm starting to feel, the virtue going away. The virtue going away. Certain things you start to get different thoughts. That duality is starting to creep in a bit. Now we go into the next stage, which is known as, and I'll spell this for everyone in the chat. Yeah, appreciate you, Sovereign. I already know you on it, Sovereign on the job. If that's the Sovereign that I'm thinking it is, which I know it is, I believe. But if that's my it's my mentee there, that's my mentee. If that's Sovereign that I'm thinking it is, but yeah. So the next one here is Davapara. I thought that was you, brother. Peace. And it's Davapara Yuga. Now this is known as the Bronze Age. Now that's spelled Dvapara, the Bronze Age. Okay. Now they say the duration of this, yes, Davapara or more, yes, Dvapara Yuga, Bronze Age. And Amora is my daughter in there as well. She's 11, so pretty nice. Okay, but the characteristics. Okay, there's a marked decline. Now, once we go into the Bronze Age, we go into, this is where we may see the decline. There's a marked decline in spiritual awareness and moral integrity. See, material pursuits. See, that's where the material pursuits begin, and intellectual achievements grow. So now when we go into this time, so now that we're at, now we came from the golden age, correct? And we find ourselves going into the silver age, right? People still living good. It's a little bit of conflict, like, hey, bro, this is my land. I think I might come up with different things. Systems started being created, and things of this nature. During the Bronze Age, spiritual awareness and moral integrity is at a decline. It's going down. We're going down once again, like we talked about. It's not just these systems just linear. It's up and down. We're looking at an up and down growth of society, of human consciousness. So during the Bronze Age, we're more concentrated on the intellect, the intellectual aspect of it. Oh, you can read well, you can speak well, You have these awards. You have these degrees and different things like that. But you still focus on more of the outside. Oh, you get the material pursuits. Oh, you got that. I don't know what kind of car it was or anything like that. But material goods. The things that we want outside of ourselves. As you see these declines, you see that we go deeper and deeper away from going within ourselves and start focusing on the outside. On the outside, the outside becomes reality. When you're in that golden age, that inner work is what's creating the reality, and we're going to a point of understanding that again. Certain people, like I said, we're at the beginning of this. Some people will never wake up in this lifetime, so we got the advantage of being able to do that. So but like we were saying, this is where people are more worried about themselves. Societies grow in complexity, and physical pleasure start to take precedence. So more so physical things that make us feel good, you know what I mean? We start focusing on those physical aspects. That's one of the main things that you start to see. um the next cycle here, or the yuga that we go into that girl what they known as Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, the age that they say we are in now. You can see it. You can see it. As we started at the golden age, went into the silver age, went into the bronze age, now we into the iron age. Just even the name sounds like, oh man, we locked down like iron. Just that like we locked into this programming right now, the iron age. Now, so the Kali Yuga is known to be the one that lasts the least amount of time, but they say it's 432,000 years. We're still on the Cosmo level, by the way, guys. We're still on the Cosmo level. 432,000 years. The Iron Age, Kali Yuga. See, this is the darkest age marked by ignorance, marked by it. See, the whole reason we even going over these different things is so we can know what time we in. You look out at the world. I made a post the other day where I was saying you look out at the world and you see all these things going on, and you wonder why everybody don't see. You wonder why it's so bad. You wonder why people are so disconnected. You wonder why people don't go within themselves. You wonder why so many crimes happen in these different things, and why people will lie. And you can't trust your government. You can't trust people. And I can talk how I want to talk on this. I forgot that I was on my go brunch. I'm thinking about social media. Yeah, so yeah, you gotta. I'm gonna be real about it, and that's what we're going to next. The mind control aspect of it, of that we're faced with when we go into what we call the Kali Yuga. When we go into these dark times, into these dark aspects of reality, the shadow aspect of Earth. The shadow aspect of Earth, the Iron Age, where at these times we are disconnected from the spiritual nature. We find ourselves in conflicts and strifes. Life is shorter. Life is shorter. We stressed out every day. We going to work. We even if you own a business, you're an entrepreneur, you got to get this money, you got these things to stress about. You got this superficial system, as someone said in the chat, superficial stuff. You got to worry about how you look, how you dress, what you got, social media, these things, and so many things are being bombarded at us, and it's all happening for a reason. But when you recognize what season you're in or cycle you're in, you're able to see through it, and you realize that, okay, I just got a harder journey to go within myself. I just have to go harder within my spiritual nature in order to be able to even survive during these times. A lot of people that can't even survive during these times, you see so many people have left because it's too much. It's too much on them. Their soul ejects this, oh, we'll try again. We'll try again. We'll come back again, if you believe in that. But what I'm saying though is that if you look out at the time, and I love this part of it because I can feel this part. I don't know what it feels like to be in the golden age. You know what I mean? I see the Vedic text. I see these different texts about it, But we don't live in that. We are at a level of the shadow of understanding, of being the most disconnected from the God source and having these things in our way and our channels cut off. But more and more people are waking up to it because of the times that we're in. More and more people are getting that information. More and more people are clicking on your videos. More people clicking on my videos. More people are taking classes like this. More information like this is being distributed out. It doesn't matter that the whole world doesn't know. It only takes a certain amount of individuals to be able to shift the paradigm so we can walk, at least have during our journey, a better life, you know, a better life, man, a better life. That was all spirit right there. That was all spirit there. That wasn't, I didn't read that off of nothing. That was all spirit. I didn't read that off of nothing because I understand that ignorance that we go through right now, that ego, these are things that we have to fight within ourselves. These are our deeper traumas. And we'll go into the persona and the ego and the shadow when we talk about Carl Jung next. But these are the times that we're in on a cosmic level. And we're going into that transition where it's like, maybe I should look within myself. Maybe I do need to meditate today. I need to meditate before I make this call. I need to get in tune with myself. I need to eat better. I need to do these things. And that's what we're running into right now. And that's why so many people are feeling that urge because, you're getting different downloads. The energy of the planet is changing based on what we talked about before, the precision of the equinox. And now we're going into these ancient texts that talked about these very times that we're in now. So that was the Kali Yuga. And those are the four cycles. Just to kind of go back on that, just to go back on the different cycles. So we have, yeah, heavy on the intention, and that's going to show you which reality that you create, which timeline that you're going to be on. Are you going to be on that timeline of worried about the president and the government and the bills and these different things that's going on in the fake system, worrying about if what are you going to do, all these things that the system has us worried about? Or are you going to go in within yourself and be in harmony and work on your spiritual nature, work with your family, get more community based, spread love, try to get wake people up that want to hear it, be in tune with your own feelings, get deeper aspects of your shadow, you know? That's the journey. That's the fight that we're on, and nobody's going to be perfect on this because look what you up against. Don't ever feel bad about yourself for change. And I'm sorry to point like that, but don't ever feel bad about yourself and what you've been through and the mistakes that you made. I remember when I first ran into positive vibes only. I thought the only thing that I could look at was positive things, be positive all the time. Then I realized that hey. You got to know what time it is on a cosmic level. You in the shadows right now. Go deeper within yourself so then you can spread that light in a darkness. That's how it really works. And that's why you signed up for this class. And that's why we're going to talk about the shadow and those things. All right. So hope everybody's still good. Everybody's still with me. We at 7:30. That was a full hour. And just to recap, we went into I think I might have went into a rant before I skipped over that. We went into the Yuga cycles, so that was the golden age, the silver age, the bronze age, the iron age. An hour already. Hey, when this knowledge get to flowing, it don't even feel like time even happening. You know what I mean? When I look at 3 hours and I see it, I be like, am I gonna be able to talk that long? Am I gonna have enough? And then I start going, and I'm like, yeah, we gonna have that time. This is different. This is different the way that it flows. I put a prayer out there before I begin for you all. I put a acknowledgement of God. When I say prayer, I put an acknowledgement of God out there, and hopefully this flows the proper way. Yeah, but we got the recap, the Yuga cycles. We talked about the precision of the equinox. Remember, look up that, and I'm sending an email. Make sure you check out The Great Year by James Earl Jones is narrating. They got some good topics where they go more into the precision of the equinox, and they also go into the Yuga cycles, and they go more into the astrological aspect of it. I'm going more into the metaphysical. All right, so let's keep going. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. Okay, so in the Kali Yuga, and if you want to look into more into this, that's the larger scale with the Vedic texts. Now they have I guess that goes with that 26,000 year cycle that I was talking about earlier with the different zodiac signs. So they've compressed it into smaller. When we talking about those millions of years before, we were on the bigger aspect of it, like looking at it from a cosmic level, from something that we probably can't even comprehend. But they made it. They did. It's an interesting as the this still is in the Vedic text, but this is them making it into a I guess you could say condensing it. The yuga's progress from okay, hold on, I'm sorry. Okay. So the yuga cycles, like with the Vedic text, that's one aspect of it where we're talking about the millions and millions of years, like we just spoke on then. But then they have it condensed, and this kind of gives you even a better understanding of what time we in, and it gives you a better understanding of the cycles of the precision of the equinox. So, and this is coming from the book which is called The Holy Science. The Holy Science. Theholy science, SCIENCE, the Holy Science. Now, this is who is by. Now, Swami Sere Yoka Twazor. I know I said that wrong, but it's spelled SWAMISRIYUKTESWAR, the Holy Science. So this is an ancient Hindu system of ages, of epochs through which humanity evolves over time. In Hindu cosmology, these cycles here chart humanity's rise and fall in spiritual consciousness, intellectual capabilities, and moral integrity over thousands of years. So we're going into the thousands of years level with this one. That's why I like this one, because it gives you a more of a condensed timeline. So each yuga is marked by distinct characteristics. It's the great year, Sovereign. GREAT, the great year. Thank you, though. So each yuga is marked by distinct characteristics of collective consciousness that affects human development, which we went over already. So now, like I said, they divided this into the 26,000 year cycle. That's what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about the precision of the equinox, when we were saying the 26,000 year cycle based on where the earth was at, based on the constellations. Now, the they the same names with these, but it's the golden age. Now with this one, it says it's lasting 4,800 years. This age is marked by high spiritual awareness and virtue. Humanity lives in unity, harmony, and have a deep understanding of the divine. Same thing here with this, but it's just a shorter version of it. So 4,800 years. The silver age that we talked about, it lasts 3,600 years, which is the same, like we were saying, the slight decline from spiritual purity through humanity. Wisdom and virtue, people still possess a strong connection to the divine and live in alignment with cosmic principles but to a lesser extent than the golden age. Then we go into the Bronze Age. Now they say that this spans 2,400 years, and this age brings forth a decline in spiritual awareness, but it is more mere materialistic worldview, more outside worldview, like we were saying before. Technology, science, intellect grow, but spiritual understanding diminishes. It goes down. People develop material desires through their remains, some knowledge of spiritual truths, but not as much. That's why you have to have gurus and, so many different teachers, because not many people are even tapping into this, not even giving it a chance to get a deeper understanding of self. So, okay, then the reason why I went over this one, because it gives you that smaller aspect of history to be able to look at. And if you look at history, you can see the dark ages. You can see the technology advances going on when you make it at a smaller level, like how they're breaking it down. You can see these changes that happen in history. You can get a better understanding of the decline and the dark ages and the industrial revolutions and these different things, the rise and fall of humanity. Nobody knows the exact dates from what I've seen here, but you can, if you're using your spiritual eye, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. All right, great, great. Okay, so that was I just wanted to break it down into a smaller framework just to illustrate that human consciousness has an ebb and flow and that while periods of darkness are inevitable, they are also followed by resurgence, a spiritual upliftment, a vibration being raised, a new life. And we're in the middle of that. So that's beautiful in itself. All right. Okay, now, so where we going next? All right, so we at 7:30, perfect. All right, so like I said, we went into the cycles of there. We went on to a cosmic level. So next we're gonna go ahead and shift. I call that section that we just did then the movement of the heavens. The movement of the heavens, part two. So now let's go into part two of this course, of this class. And I'm about to pull up the book in a moment, Edgar Casey book, so you guys can see something other than just me talking to you all and be able to see it for yourself here. Okay, so now we still on a cosmic level. We still on a bigger aspect of it. We're gonna see these ancient prophecies, and we're going to go through these different cultures that say it, because if we sit here and compare all of these things, where's this coming from? It has to be some truth to it because it's in so many different texts and different history systems, even coming up to Revelations, which we'll talk about. Okay, so let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. So the next thing we're gonna go into ancient prophecies. That's where we headed to now. We headed to the ancient prophecies. We're gonna go into the Mayan prophecy um first. I want to start there because what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through about let's see how many I got. I got five different no, six different prophecies that relate to the times that we're in. You know, six different prophecies that relate to the times that we're in throughout history. And we're gonna talk about these different different timelines and different cultures that went into it. But I gotta start with the Mayan prophecy. Now, we heard about the Mayan prophecy. If you've been in the spiritual community for a while, you heard about 2012. You heard the world was going to end. Oh, it's about to end. It's about to be all over. It's about to blow up. It's about to be destruction. It's about to be all these different things that's going to happen, and we're not going to make it through. But could they have been talking about more of a destruction of an old system? I think that's the direction and the best aspect to look at it. When we look at each of these prophecies, I'm going to look at the good part of it, why we should study it, but I'm also going to look at the shadow element of this because we have to have that dualistic understanding of the times that we're in. So before we were talking about, just as a whole on the cosmic, now we're getting more so into the times that we're in now. So with the Mayans, one thing they had, I looked up here and I found what they call the let me pull this up real quick here. And I call this they call this the seven prophecies of the Mayans. Because when you look at the Mayan, it was all about the Mayan prophecy was understood to be around 2012 and was often misunderstood as the prediction of the end of the world. In truth, it marked the end of one cycle and the beginning of another, symbolizing a shift in human consciousness. The prophecy is powerful for those interested in exploring time, cycles, and humanity's evolution. Now, the shadow element of the Mayan prophecy was the fears of ending, change, and transformation, the collective shadow of materialism, and the obsession with linear progress. Once again, we talked about that line. We think we going so far because we got a new systems, we got a new technology, we got new phones, we got new cars, we got these new things. So we it looks like an advancement, but where are we going within ourselves with these advancements? Not saying anything wrong with AI, not saying anything wrong with these things, because this is the way that we're communicating. It's just all about how we're using this, an extension of ourselves, to be able to spread this knowledge and to be able to help with the wake up process. Without the internet, you wouldn't be seeing me now. Without the internet, me and you may have never met. So it is part of the change, but at the same time, it's that shadow element of it, of thinking that progress is happening due to the fact that we are got a newer phone. You know what I mean? Yeah. But okay, so I was going into I was looking to pull it up here. I was going into the seven different prophecies here of the Mayans, because it just makes so much sense. It just makes so much sense with these different prophecies. Now, I had to go through different places, but they kind of gave me an idea of the timeline here. So just going to kind of read where I got this from. This is called Yucton Today. This is basically a blog site here. But so the first I want to focus on what they said was going to be the process, because it speaks to these days so much. It speaks to my journey. It probably speaks to your journey. It speaks to the collective journey. So it just makes sense. Okay, the first Maya prophecy. And they're saying that it announces the end of the present cycle, that from the year 1999, there are 13 years remaining, that every person is in a great room of mirrors. I don't like to use these dates like 99 and the different calendar and stuff like that, but I'm going to still say it here. But look at this part of it, though. Look at this part of the prophecy. Every person is in the great room of mirrors. That's what we talked about, and that's what we're talking about when I said the shadow. When you say how ancient prophecy is going to go into shadow, what does it have to do with me? You see what I mean? Every person is in the great room of mirrors to find their own multidimensional nature within themselves. That's the first prophecy during that time. Second Maya prophecy, they said that the answers to everything are inside man, that mhm, our behaviors determines our future. It affirms that humanity finds itself in a moment of fundamental transition toward a new way of perceiving the universe. Don't that sound familiar with what we were talking about earlier with the cycles of the up and down? People will start to look at the universe different, start looking at the solar system different, start looking at our connection to earth. Like, what is this around us? What is this, a beautiful place, and what have we done? It's the wake up process, a mirror of ourselves, and noticing the multidimensional aspect of ourselves. We have a new way of perceiving, and we're begin to receive higher energy. Okay, as this earth wobbles, as this earth changes its position, we're changing. Higher energies and information from the center of the galaxy, and that is causing an increase in vibration on the planet. And also, with this increase in vibration on the planet, it's going to affect everything on the planet, including man itself, including our cells, including our DNA, including our inner nature, including our spiritual gifts. Why do you see so many people now are tapping in? Why so many people are into this knowledge? Why so many people are intuition is stronger? Why so many people are empaths? Why so many people are having psychic abilities and seeing things before they come, or speaking to the spiritual realm, or going into the spiritual realm? Why are all these things happening at this time? Why it didn't happen, in the 1800s? Why it didn't happen at these times? See, these were prophesized times. That's why I say that ancient prophecies tell us what time we're in, and we get a better understanding of why these things is probably happening to you, even on your individual level. Am I right or am I wrong when I say that? Am I right or when I'm wrong when I say that it's on an individual level? You feel this change is happening. It's so many of us that's having this. Now, you may look out and you may see the chaos because we're going through the transition, but at the same time, don't you feel that feeling? Don't you feel that feeling when you listen to this type of knowledge? Don't you feel that feeling when you say, oh, okay, that's what I needed. That's the insight that I needed. That's the teacher that I needed to hear. That's the person that I needed to speak to. Oh, that spoke to my soul. That's the book that I needed to read. As you walk through your day, it's synchronized. You see these different signs. You see these different symbols. You pick up a book and it speaks directly to you. You go to a website and it starts talking directly to you. You go speak to the person at the gas station and they start talking to you. You deliver these different messages, and all these things happening. Like me and Sovereign, for instance, Sovereign right on here with me. We anytime we interact with each other, we had a sound bowl meditation last week for everyone. We had a sound bowl meditation last week, and when we interact, certain things start happening when you like your energy is amplified when you get around certain people and you run into these signs and symbols, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, spirit always with us. Spirit always with us, but we so disconnected from that aspect because we hit with the distractions, because we hit with so many things, because we're bombarded, and that's all on purpose, because it once again it takes you away. It takes you away from your spiritual nature. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Okay, where we at? Okay, so the new frequency, new things are happening, and the second Maya prophecy shows two paths: one of understanding and tolerance, and one of fear and destruction. So that's when we goes back into what we were saying earlier, that certain people are on one timeline while others are on another timeline, and we have the ability to choose which timeline we're going to be on based on the spiritual work that we do within ourselves, and based on what we're listening to, based on what we're paying attention to, based on, are we feeding the fear? Are we feeding the love? Are we handling our fear? Are we looking at our shadow? Are we looking at our traumas? Are we stepping into our power? Are we really stepping into it? Are we trying to break away from the system slowly but surely and create our own? That's why these things are within us. And when we go against it, you can feel it. Every time I go against this type of nature, you can feel it, because it's almost like a punishment to yourself when you go against your spiritual nature of what you're feeling, because that's what you came here for. But the distractions and all these other things that's in our way makes us forget. It makes us forget. And then a lot of times you get scrutinized for doing these things, and that's the hard part of it. But now we're in a new time, so you know that spirit's on your side. This is the time to do these practices. This is the time to not worry about them laughing. This is the time to step into it and show your light and let it be known. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That's why I got the followers. That's why I got these things that have happened, because I said, man, I'm feeling this in my soul. I'm finna say it. That's what I felt. That's what I feel. But I know a lot of you all do it as well. So that was the second aspect of the prophecy, just the fact that the time that we're in, and like we talked about earlier on the cosmo level, the vibrations that's coming to the planet is changing us. The third Maya prophecy, and it says that we become aware of our influence on the planet so that we do not continue making mistakes or causing destruction, as has happened over the course of history. The processes of industrialization. Look at our planet. Look, we just threw the planet away, like whatever, like that wasn't our home. No war, destruction, that Kali Yuga, that Iron Age, that lack of understanding of our connection to it all. I mean, come on, like we started at the beginning, the breath, the oxygen. Without that, we out of here. That's here. We can't even see it. So I always use the breath. I always use that aspect of it. but we become more aware of what we've done. We have to look around and see what's going on. We can't just go into peace, love, and light like certain people are preaching, because it's like we gonna clean this up first, or we just gonna go into peace and love and light and repress our emotions on a planet. And we're doing. I'm talking about an individual level, but I'm talking about a planetary level as well. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so the third was we noticed our mistakes, the process of industrialization without ecological. I'm sorry, let me plug my computer up real quick. I don't want it to down, y'all. Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, we back. Okay, so where were we at? Okay, so during these times, the Maya prophecy said it will be, and these are other things that's happening: increasing temperature on the planet. This will be increasing because of the activity of the sun. We barely even have winter. What month we in? We in October. It still is about 70 degrees outside. I know even in the 90s, I remember when the temperature was different. So that just go to show like where we at right now. You know what I mean? Like planetary changes are happening. Things are happening. More greater weather and winds. We had a hurricane last about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago here in Georgia. The worst hurricane. I've never been through a hurricane in all my life, but that hurricane hit so hard, Hurricane Helene, and it just make you look out. Yeah, people say HARP and different things like that, and that could be true. But if you look outside and you just see that power, and you know that you can't do nothing with it, it's just a sublime feeling. You just have to sit there and just watch that power that happens. I should say that, like Jenny said, the sun is different. The hurricanes is different. I lived my whole life and never experienced that. I've never experienced something like that. It knocked trees down. Augusta, and I stay in Augusta, Georgia. We didn't know what to do. We still feeling it. Still trees. It's still a tree in my yard now. That's how serious it was. But that just goes into that prophecy. I always try to look at things that's happening now, and I try to look at it from an ancient time. Like someone said, the moon is clear. I think we all worked on collective consciousness. We could shift that hurricane. I agree with that. I believe we do have power to be able to change that, and that's what it's speaking to. Is just changing the timeline, shifting our focus as a collective, and that's what's going to change our reality. That's what's going to determine it. So that's why you're in Florida. Yeah, yeah, we're in Florida. Florida got hit. There was more than 7 tornadoes that hit Florida. 7. You see what I mean? So these times are serious. Like we are really living this. This is not a joke. This is not a YouTube video. This is not a just a random course. This is things that we living through day by day. I know you feel me. Every day we wake up and there's so much going on. Okay, where are we now? I'm in Connecticut. Okay. Yeah, but it's just so much has been happening, and that just speaks back to that prophecy. The weather and the winds, there will be energy vortexes, which will clean the Earth's surface. So we got to clean up, which are the manifestation of the conformity of our planet and elemental energies contained in this interior. So the Earth is going through its shadow. The Earth is cleaning up. It's shaking things off. It's getting rid of certain things. It's stopping certain things from happening. That's what I feel. And that's what these prophecies are saying as well. And that's what you all seeing and experiencing as well. Like she says, 7 tornadoes in Florida. 7. 2 hurricanes back to back. Augusta, Georgia, mid in the middle of Georgia, almost got hit with a hurricane that took power out for 3 weeks. And we had to sit with ourselves, and we had to be without those electronics, be without social media, without that technology, where I only had a chance to look within. So I went through my own shadow through that hurricane. I went through my own dark night of the soul, just going through it with my family, with having to try to survive, take care of them. So these are things that are happening on a cosmic level, but it's also happening in your individual life. I hope that made sense. The fourth prophecy. Milton brought 26. 26. Thank you, Allison. 26. Okay, let's go back to that. I just looked it up. Allison said, I appreciate you, Allison. She said, I just looked it up. Milton brought 26 confirmed tornadoes. All these things are happening at once. Everything is happening at once. Everything is happening at once. And these prophecies spoke on this. Okay, so the fourth Maya prophecy, it tells us man must cease his destructive behavior in order to synchronize with the rhythms of nature and adjust to the changes which will take the whole universe to an era of harmony. The climate changes will produce a melting of the poles, allowing the planet to be cleansed and green again. Producing great changes in the physical consumption composition of the continents. Once again, we still got to look at a cosmic level of how this is going to happen. But yeah, the sun is different. I think someone mentioned that earlier. Like, yeah, it's destructive, but at the same time, in order for something to be built new, you have to destroy the old. So look at it on a macro level, but also look at it on a micro level in your own life. What's the destruction that's happening that got to get out the way so you can clear the path so we can have a new world and live in a different harmony with it. But the fifth Maya prophecy is seven of these now. So the fifth Maya prophecy says that all systems based on fear, which affect our civilization, will transform simultaneously with the planet and humanity to take a step towards the reality of harmony. Systems will fail to confront humanity with itself, making us see the need to reorganize society and continue to on the path of evolution, allowing us to understand creation. Money will cease to be used as a form of exchange. Once again, this prophecy, we see the digital age has been here. We see the digital age has been here. A lot of these things, we're like, how is this going to happen? We can't comprehend it on our level, just like we couldn't comprehend 20 years ago that we'd be on the internet talking like this. We don't know what's up ahead, but if we are pushing towards that, then change is coming, and especially if we know what time it is. So systems will fail, money will cease to be used as a form of exchange, and the symptoms which are emerging in various parts of the world seem to confirm this, like we were saying, the digital age and things like this. A single common spiritual path will emerge for all humanity, which will end the established limits we have set for different ways of seeing God. A new galactic day is, and this is optimistic, but a new galactic day is seen in all religions and cults as an era of peace and harmony for all humanity. Therefore, it is clear that whatever does not contribute to this result should disappear or change. The new era of light cannot allow a humanity based on military economy which imposes truce by force. I hope that still makes sense. I hope that still makes sense with you. So we are at the end of the night of the 5125 years, at the end of the galactic day of 26,000 years, at the point of entering the dawn of the galaxy, the era of the change which the Maya called the time of no time. The time of no time, which was also prophesied by many religions. And they all agree that the world is at the point of change of huge proportions. You see, the time of no time. This will usher in a new phase of evolution and consciousness. The end of the galactic date of 26,000 years, we are entering the time of no time. The up and down, the up and down. The sixth Maya prophecy says that in the next few years, a comet will appear whose trajectory will place humanity's existence in danger. Once again, the shadow of this is the danger, the fear of things happening on the planet. Now, like I said, who knows really? But in the this is said in like doomsday in the Bible prophecies and different things like that. But we're in a cycle where the night enters the dawn, The light which is emitted from the center of the galaxy synchronizes with all the living beings and permits them to voluntarily access an internal transformation which produces new realities. That's what we were talking about before. Like Janelle, I think it was Janelle that mentioned, like, if the collective aspect of it is changed, then we could change things. Yeah, Janelle said that. But yeah, like, so we have a voluntary, like, you get a choice. If you want to wake up at this time, it's up to you. If you don't want to wake up, that's cool. You live in what reality that you choose. It's not a time of trying to wake everybody up. It's a time of living your truth, and the people that are supposed to be here will gravitate towards you. Those people that are not will leave your world, and they're probably supposed to leave your world because they were only going to keep you trapped within that old system. And at one point, the things that they said and the things that they believed was louder than your own inner truth. At one point, you would say something to a family member about religion or something like that. You didn't have that power, you didn't have that ability because you were outnumbered and you didn't have the proof, but just something that you felt. And those times were dominated at that time in history. But now that we're in a new time, in a new day, in a new dawn, these new principles and these new things that we're learning are going to start emerging more and more. Now, if you focus on the bad, if you focus on the government, if you focus on the chaos, if you focus on these things, that's what will show up more and more in your world. Now, not to say that you're not going to go through that shadow, which we're going to talk next here. That but the individual journey of the transformation is a lifelong journey, but it's a voluntary journey. It doesn't have to happen. You can live this life how you want to live it. You could decide to put your own limitations, or you can start going further, but it's not easy. It's not easy. It takes sitting here for 3 hours and hearing these type of lectures, and then going to study for yourself, and then meditating on this later, then meditating for days, and then doing shadow work and using these books and these different things like that. And that sometimes it's just like, man, I'm gonna lose my mind trying to do all this. But at the same time, you gotta let it flow. You gotta let it flow and keep going. Like you say, keep going like a wave. But you're if you go through hard times all the time, you got to look deeper in yourself. Sometimes it's lessons, sometimes it's trauma. Sometimes it's lessons, sometimes it's repeated trauma. But we have voluntary access to produce these new realities. Those who voluntarily will find that interior state of peace. They'll ask you, like, man, why you so peaceful? Why you ain't worried about that? Why you going how you gonna let that happen? How you gonna figure that out? How you gonna pay that bill? How you gonna do this thing? And you in at a state of peace because you have an understanding. You going into that silence at night. You going into that place where those insights begin to come to you, and you going into those you going into those deeper understandings of yourself. You have that assurance on your life, and something good is going to happen, or some type of breakthrough, because you're following the signs, you're following the synchronicities, you're seeing the spirit laying out your way, you're feeling protected, you're finding yourself in dangerous situations and you're being protected, you're seeing the divine intervention, you're seeing that, okay, when I do work on myself, I do feel better. When I breathe before I go to work, I do feel better. When I meditate before I talk to these people, I do feel better. I'm feeling better and better. Oh, when I eat these foods, I'm feeling better. Oh, when I ground myself and I put my feet into the ground, I feel better. When I walk, when I write out my emotions, I feel better. It's all about going into those different levels of it, of feeling better moment by moment. That's how this journey works. It's not just a constant feeling good, but it is a state of going more into that voluntary aspect of looking deeper into your spirit. And you got to do it voluntarily. Can't nobody's push you. Can't nobody tell you how to do it your way. Everybody gotta tell you, got to do it on your own. That's the realest part of all of this. Everything that I'm saying here, you got to do the work on your own, and then you can be guided, and someone can tell you. But when you do the work on your own, you start realizing your own rituals. You start realizing your own patterns. You start realizing your own understanding. You start realizing your own confirmations into this world. Yeah. Confirmate You gave me confirmation to let go, trying to help others. Like you said, we have the free will of creating our own reality by our own choices, decisions, and happening. Boom. Bring it to him, Janelle. Bring it to him, and that's correct. And it's not a thing of being mean. It's not a thing of not caring. You have empathy. You see the world. You're making a change by changing yourself by having a different vibration when you all walk outside. Dolores Cannon talked about that. This wave of energy that we're in now, we just have to be. Your energy itself going into a room can change the whole vibration. Somebody seeing you can change the way that they see their perspective. Somebody that can see you might get a spark of a thought that'll change them. It's like when we walking out in the streets and just our demeanor, what may be on your shirt might change somebody's world. Somebody might ask you about those stones that you got on. Somebody might ask you your story. You might just be walking down the street and your energy is just vibrating with people. People might start looking back at you. These are the things that start happening with this inner transformation. And I'm going more into the aspect of the shadow aspect of it and your power. And that's why I always talk about vibrating so high, because when you just being in that vibration will change the things that you go through. Like I go through things, I go through hard times, I go through all kind of things. Like I said, it's a tree in my yard now, but this is the most important. It's a tree also by me to get closer to nature. So it's levels to this. It's levels to this. It's levels to this. But let's keep going though. All right, so that was the seventh print, the prophecy, where you have a choice, independent decision, if you want to make this change, if you want to go on the rise, be on the rise. Like I say, we at a low level, but we slowly creeping up. And some people can take it to another level because this you can access the golden age in the Kali Yuga based on your inner work. There we go. There we go. I think that was good. I think that was good right there. I think Spirit talked to me on that one. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. So we went into Maya prophecies. That was more so what we said about the we already went over the shadow elements of it. Okay, now how much time we got? Because I'm going in. We got 8. Okay, so we got a couple of more prophecies to go through, and I'm just trying to hone in on that point of the prophecies that did it. I'm gonna kind of fly through these though, so I can go make sure I have time for that shadow aspect. Y'all still with me? Y'all still with me? Everybody still good? Any questions? Any questions while we going? Any questions? Anything? We up in here. Hey, we up in here. Hold up. Hey, hey, hey. And spirituality can be fun. You gotta be yourself, and you know what I mean? That's what make it good. That's what make it good. Any questions? All right. Well, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. So let's see where we at. Okay. So now we went into the Mayan prophecy. So the next one is the whole. Let me say this. I'm from Southern Georgia, so y'all know these words get me. But Hopi prophecies, HOPI prophecies, the coming of the fifth world. See, this theme is once again, we're going into earth changes, environmental responsibilities, and renewal. So, same thing again, like we were saying earlier when we were talking about Milton, when we were talking about the hurricanes, when we were talking about the tornadoes. See, the Hopi prophecies focus more on humanity's relationship with the earth and the idea that the world will transition into a new era due to environmental and spiritual imbalance. This is great for those concerned with the planet balance and spiritual accountability. So that's what they talk about with the Hopi prophecy. They more so saying that this change is going to be ushered in through the earth changes, and our responsibilities we gotta clean up. That's what they say. Now the shadow element is of this age is the denial of responsibility. A denial of responsibility. Like I didn't do that. I don't have to clean this up. This ain't got, you know what I mean? The world, we people don't want to even feel like they did it, but we did. That's humanity did. Our relationship with the earth has been dark for years, but we have a disconnection from nature and the collective shadow of exploitation and environmental destruction. That's the Hopi prophecy. These prophecies speak to the current climate crisis and the spiritual call for humanity to reconnect to the earth. Going back to that global wake up call, going back to that wake up call of grounding yourself with the earth, getting more in tune with the planet. That's what this is all about. That's what these times are all about, that we're going through. Like, you know. Okay, now the next one is the Egyptian prophecies. You know, you always got to put Egypt in there. Egypt, right above the pyramid, knowledge of self, the mystery schools, the pyramids, all these different things. They were one of the leaders in these type of spiritual sciences and things of that nature. Um, things of that nature. So their theme was more about power, civilization, and spiritual leadership. The Egyptian prophecies are often associated with the rise and fall of civilizations and the return of wisdom from the ancient Atlantis era. So I don't know if you're familiar with Atlantis, but that was so-called prior to ancient Egypt. In the it's underwater, they say, but they were way more advanced even than Egypt was. So they say that these prophecies are pushing us, you know, more towards those times. But the shadow element of it is the abuse of power, control, the fear of losing control, or the collective shadow of domination and tyranny, which we see now a lot of. Then we go into to people like Nostradamus. We can look at Nostradamus. Someone said they're from that area. I feel you on that. Like, I think some of us are reincarnated. Not to say I got the science behind that. I think some of us are from those times, and we're waking up again, and we're here again, and we forgot ourselves, over these years, and now we're going back. We always felt it. Anybody that's awakened now or that's got this understanding now, they probably felt like this since they were a child. They probably felt that way since they were a child. We have already done this class together before. That's what I believe as well. That's why we're so attached to it. We're going towards this way so hard because we've already done this. We already know. But you have all these distractions, you have all these illusions, you have all these things in front of us, and it's like, man, like, am I tripping? And you'll feel like you're tripping just because of the time that we're in. But these type of classes and this type of information, that's the purpose of it, to be able to give you that understand that you're not tripping. But Nostradamus prophecies, this was more so like global turmoil, chaos, and an awakening. Nostradamus is famous for his cryptic predictions, many of which are said to correlate with major historical events. His work is ideal for those who enjoy decoding mysterious symbols and working with the collective shadow of fear surrounding the chaos and disaster. I still remember speak to when you were a child though. I still remember one of the things that I seen on television at my aunt's house. This was years ago. I was like 8 years old, so this is the '90s. Just speaking on my age, but I was like 8 years old. I was very young, and I still remember that was the first time I ever seen anything about Nostradamus. And I remember they were talking about planes, and planes hitting towers and things. Now, this is the '90s. This is prior to that. And this was my aunt. And I always thought she was different because she liked to draw and she was just outside of the family. But now I understand why I always was over there and I always went there. But we looked up Nostradamus, and I still remember that like it was yesterday in my mind, of those planes, of those prophecies. And and another thing, now my nephew's named Nazir. I didn't even think about that until I put that together, but my nephew's named Nazir. But yeah, I just had to say that because I just thought about that when I did it. Like, a lot of these things have been signs through our whole life. Um but yeah. So Nostradamus. Okay, so and then we went into the Vedic prophecies. We already talked about that. We talked about that from the aspect of the Yuga cycles that was in there, that we went into. We already went over that pretty well. All right, so now let's go into the big guy. You know what I'm talking about, the Christian prophecy. Y'all ready for that? Ready for the Christian prophecy aspect of it? All right, all right. Okay. The Christian prophecy, the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation. Let's get into it. I'm pretty sure that most people that probably even signed up for this class, they probably heard me, the video that I put out with that, and I only put out like one video, and the class sold a lot of tickets. A lot of people not even in here, so I appreciate y'all by the way. But it was the veil is lifted. The veil is lifted. The veil is lifted. We are able to see behind the veil. We are able to see, so many things are being revealed. Revelations revealed. The root word of revelation is to reveal. The things that were hidden are coming to the light. Is this a time of destruction, or is this a time of renewal? And is this a time of the end of times, or is this a time of spiritual rebirth? The book of Revelations. So the book of Revelations is filled with rich symbolism related to the apocalypse, the final battle between good and evil, and the coming of a new world. This is a good choice if you are interested in things of duality, the good and the bad, spiritual warfare, and ultimate redemption. Yep. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Janelle. I appreciate that. Yeah, so the book of Revelations is yeah, that I mean, all right, let's just get into it. I'm pretty sure that people are familiar with Christian prophecy and revelations and the different things that are said to happen throughout the Bible. That's not my strongest suit to break that down in that way, but I am going to break down the metaphysical aspect of it. I am going to go into the Book of Revelations from the level of what they who they call a sleeping prophet, which was Edgar Casey. Now, I study all type of people. I look in different things. He was from the 1800s, 1877 to 1945. And when I was looking over the Revelations and I was looking at the different books, I said, yeah, this is the one that I'm going to share with the class. This is the direction I want to take this. So he was a psychic. He did over 14,000 readings, and on various subjects, he often diagnosed illnesses and recommended treatments during this time. While in his trance state, um, yeah, while in this trance state, yeah, that's what the spirit lead me, Jenny. The spirit lead me when it comes to the knowledge. I just be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Let me put it together and see if I can come up with a course with it. Because this is not me, and these things that come to me, but the knowledge is universal. But just putting it into a course to make it be able to be easy. I hope I'm making this easy. Is everybody still understanding though? I'm just moving along. Everybody still understanding? Okay, very easy. Okay, okay. That's my main thing. I want to make it as simple as possible. Everybody still with me? We still on the macro level, but we going more so into the micro level. I'm gonna get into the micro just so you can have some principles to lead with and some things to lead with after this. Everybody still with me? Everybody else here still with me? By Andre. What about Matara? Leah. Y'all still with me? I want to make sure. I appreciate y'all. I just had to take me a little snack break there. Let's do a little stretch, a little bit of breathing before we go into Revelations. All right, let me share my screen real quick with you because I want to let y'all be able to see this screen. Okay. All right. Let me go back to the Gold Brunch. I want to make sure. Can y'all see that? Yeah. Okay. You see that? Perfect. Make sure y'all see that. Okay. All right. So this is also a book that's going to be sent to you all, so you'll have this book as well after this. But this is Edgar Casey on the Book of Revelation. I felt like this just made the most sense. Of course, there's a lot more in this going to Jesus and the incarnation of Jesus and these different things, but I'm going to focus. My main focus is this aspect of it. Okay, so like I said, Edgar Casey on the Book of Revelations. We at 8:15. Let me make sure I got enough time because he goes into chakras and everything on this. But okay, so Edgar Casey, his dream interpretation of John's dream. Through Casey's otherworldly journeys, he learned the true interpretation of the Bible. According to Casey, the Bible is the symbolic account of the fall and restoration of the human soul to its divine origins. That's something that we've been talking about this whole time. This whole time we were talking about the rise and the fall, being more materialistic as opposed to the divine origins of ourselves that's inside of us. He believed Genesis is the symbolic testimony of humanity's fall from the heaven, the what we said earlier, the golden age, right? We said the golden age earlier. From man's fall from the golden, I mean, I'm sorry, from man's fall from heaven to in paradise lost. Revelation is the symbolic testimonies of humanity's restoration to heaven and paradise found. Okay, now the book of Revelation was written by a man named John, possibly John the Apostle, toward the end of his life. John records a vision he experiences probably while dreaming or meditating. This vision contains a tremendous amount of symbolism, the same kind of symbolism one would see in a dream, a vision, or of the spirit world. In fact, the book of Revelation contains the same symbolism found in the symbols in the prophets Daniel's dream, and other characters that were in the Bible. Okay, so let me see. Let me go. Let me. Okay, so Casey described the true nature between humanity and God. Casey revealed that humans actually have three different dimensions of human awareness. Now we're going in. Now we're going into my specialty right here. And that's why I like this, because it talked about the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and this is going to lead us right into the shadow work. When we after we get done with Revelations, we're going into the shadow work and reversing the curse. Okay, now the conscious mind, the personality, the subconscious mind, the soul, and the superconscious mind, the spirit. An important goal in everyone's life is to awaken, excuse me, to awaken our superconscious mind to attain what Casey called atonement with God. Killer Mike got a beautiful song called Atonement with God. You'll check that out. But anyway, atonement with God. The superconscious mind is caused by many names, by many religions, and many different cultures. Some of these names are Buddha consciousness, Christ consciousness. There we go. Christ consciousness, the collective mind, the universal mind, the collective unconsciousness, the Holy Spirit, Brahman, God, the clear white light, Allah, higher self, and the mind of Christ. Casey references to the Christ consciousness, and the mind of Christ has little to do with the personality known as Jesus. Okay, let me slow down right there. You guys still with me? You know, we get to talk about Jesus and get kind of strange with it. But okay, okay, just making sure, making sure y'all with me. No, here we go. We're going into Jesus. Okay, now Casey revealed that Jesus became the Christ, a full manifestation of the Christ consciousness, the perfect union of the human with the divine, and it is God's desire for all of humanity to become Christ, or they call it in the East, Buddhas. Such a condition will truly bring the kingdom of God on earth. Casey revealed that the book of Revelation, and this is what I loved about it. The book of Revelation is the symbolic story of how humanity in general attains the manifestation of the divine. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all strapped in? We still going? Okay, okay, okay. So Casey's symbolic interpretation about the book of Revelations can be contained in a book all by itself. In fact, a whole book has been written about Casey's interpretations of Revelations. Okay, let me see. Hold on, you guys. Let me see what, because I don't want to say too much. Let me see. We're gonna go through all this. I think we got enough time to maybe hit this. I don't know. What- I don't know. Let me see. Okay. we'll go into it. We'll go into it for the most part, but like I said, this is going to be also sent to you. This very book right here, so you'll be able to go over it too if I miss any parts of it though. But let's just start at let's just start up here though with it because I want to really get into how he broke down these seven churches and the chakras. Okay, so chapter 1 through 3, letters to the church. So John on the island of Patmos explains that he was in the spirit when Christ appears to him standing in the midst of seven candlesticks. Christ then tells John to write down what he sees and hears concerning seven churches. All right, so the interpretation according to Casey. While in meditation, John's conscious mind becomes open to the subconscious mind and the superconscious mind. That's something that we can do now. And if you follow me and if you got my book Mind Alignment, you win when you write within. I go into these different brainwave states and I go into these different levels of consciousness that you go into in order to be able to get messages. Meaning is you shut down that rational mind, you shut down that logical mind, and then you're able to then go into these different levels of spirit of understanding of the world because you shut it down for a moment. You don't go to sleep. You don't go into dream state, which you can get messages there as well. But it's even better when you're doing a conscious meditation and getting those downloads. You should do that every day because you will get something from spirit that'll tell you what to do. And that's just coming from me. That's something that I've realized. The seven churches and the seven seals represents the seven spiritual centers, aka the chakras. We're doing a metaphysical look at this of the body where the physical, mental, and spiritual forces all come together. The superconscious mind within John tells him that anyone can regain control of these spiritual centers within their bodies, can access the superconscious mind, and never need to reincarnate again. Wow. Okay, so the different churches made the seven churches was said to be, if you guys can see that. So these are the names of the churches. These are the glands. These are the chakra systems that Edgar Casey says are the representation of the churches. If you can see that right there, you go ahead and go through it because I know if I say, well, I guess I say it. Ephesus Church, Gonads, the seal one, Smyrna, which is a city right outside Atlanta, which is interesting. But the Glen Aden, Pergamus, you guys can see it. So basically, each church represents a different um, chakra system. Wow, Philadelphia pineal gland. Isn't that interesting? Anybody from Philly? Been to Philadelphia? What's going on in Philly? Anything spiritual? That's interesting. Okay, let's keep going. So Christ opens the seals of the book of heaven, literally. So John now appears at the throne of God and sees four beasts and 24 elders around it. On the throne sits God who has a book with seven seals. John weeps when he learns that no one can open the seals to the book. One of the elders tells John that Christ is able to open the seals. Christ then opens the seals, resulting in many earth changes. The seventh seal unleashes seven angels who sound seven trumpets, trumpets. It's interesting these times and these names, isn't it? Trumpets, seven trumpets, which are sounded one by one. Interpretation: John has a mental awakening, spiritual awakening, when he attains the spiritual level of the superconscious mind within the throne. And there we go. There's the glands. Kind of show you which one there. I think someone made a good point in the chat here. All the glands correspond to the chakra center. Thank you, Jenny. That's right. Okay, as you can see. Okay, within the throne of his own body, the four beasts are his four lower. There we go. In the lower nature, The lower nature of us, the dualistic nature, we're not in the golden age, so a lot of us are stuck in our lower nature, our lower spiritual nature. Our animalistic desires and the 24 elders are the 24 nerves from his brain leading to his five senses. The superconscious mind is now in full control of John's body. Body is symbolized as a book with seven seals, which no one has the ability to open on his own. Only through the development of the super consciousness mind within a person can these spiritual centers within the body be opened and activated. The seven seals, the seven chakra systems, or what they said, the seven churches, it was here in the book of Revelation. You see why I like this one? Yeah, if you into the metaphysics, you see why I like these interpretations. Of course, people are gonna get different interpretations of it, but I really like this one though. I really like this interpretation because it teaches you to go within and activate the different systems within your body. Okay. As each spiritual system within the body is activated, different parts of the body are purified, and upheavals of the body occur mentally, physical, and spiritually. The superconscious mind spiritually activates the seventh spiritual center, the pituitary, the master gland of the body. As a result of this, it becomes quiet in heaven for 1/2 hour. Revelation 8:1. This is symbolic to the perfect control of the mind for 1/2 hour through meditation. We have control over our mind through the meditation. Thank you, Sovereign. Seven seals, seven chakra systems, seven churches, seven glands. There we go. There we go. Heaven is mine. There we go. Y'all speak y'all knowledge. Y'all speak y'all knowledge. I know y'all got it. But yeah, there we go. There we go. So the following are some of the symbols of revelation interpreted by Casey. So we went deeper into it, and you'll be able to check this out on your own as well. So if I'm going too fast, you'll go back. But symbol, the paradise of God is the original consciousness of humanity before its fall into flesh. What did we talk about earlier? What we talked about earlier, we said the golden age into the age of into the decline, the ebb and flow of human consciousness, of the original consciousness of humanity. You see what I mean? You see why this? You guys starting to see how this is coming together? Let me know if you're seeing how this is coming together. Let me know if you're seeing how this is coming together, guys. From the macro level all the way, we in Revelations, gold to iron. There we go, Jenny. There we go, dropping the dropping the jewels. It's all a puzzle. The power of seven. There we go, Leah. There we go. There we go. I love it. I'm comfortable with you all now. This feel like we just speaking. We just speaking. You can see what I see over here. Okay, so the paradise of God. All right, so the tree of life, according to Casey, the symbol, the tree of life, the spiritual centers of the body, such as the heart and the pituitary, that becomes perfectly synchronized. The angel of the church, the intelligent force governing a spiritual center within the body. Satan. Satan, according to Casey, is the force of self-centeredness, self-gratification, as you see, self-indulgence, self-importance, self-righteousness, self-consciousness, self-glorification, self-delusion, self-condemnation, self-ego, and more than anything, the false God. The false God. That's what we've been dealing with. Just the falsehoods. We have to go through those things in these day and age, and that's the thing about it. Those falsehoods. Okay, let's keep going. All right. So the book of life, the collective unconscious record, memory of all souls, also known as for some the Akashic records. The collective unconscious, known as Carl Jung would say, the collective consciousness that we're going through now. Okay, so then the earth is said as the physical body, the mountain of fire striking the earth, the forces within the physical body which are constantly warring within. The forces within the physical body which are constantly warring within, the New Jerusalem, the superconscious mind, the awaken, nakedness, the exposure of our faults, the exposure of faults. That's real. The devil is a state of mind. We had a power to rise, right? The self-centeredness, all the self-indulgence and things like that. The false self, the false God. The seven lamps, the wisdom of the seven spiritual centers within the body. Okay, so where we at? We at chapter 12 and 14. Okay, so a woman, a dragon, two beasts, and a lamb. Okay, so the literal John sees a woman with 12 stars about to bear a child. Next to the woman is a dragon, and that is ready to devour the child she is giving birth to. After the child is born, the child is taken to the throne of God. Afterwards, a war in heaven occurs, and the devil and his angels are cast out of heaven to earth. John also sees a beast rise out of the sea, which the world worships. John then sees a lamb on earth, and the angels proclaiming the fall of Babylon. Okay. And that is John, that is a literal interpretation of it. Now, Edgar Casey's interpretation of that is John is shown a picture of the soul of humanity in its development since the days of eternity. The woman symbolizes the soul of humanity crowned with 12 stars, the 12 basic patterns of human personality. And then when you get this, you can click on it and it'll go to those as well, as described in what we talked about earlier in the zodiacs. The 12 stars, the 12 basic patterns of human personality, as described in the zodiacs. We talked about that earlier with the age of Aquarius, the different Yuga cycles, and those different things of that matter, if you remember. Okay. Now, all right. So as described as zodiacs. The child she bears is the conscious mind. As the conscious mind is born, a rival force of the self occurs, which brings about recurring periods of rebellion in humanity. That conscious mind, we constantly at war with it. We constantly paying attention to the logical things. We constantly paying attention to the material things through the conscious mind. Um, that masculine aspect of us. But through divine intervention, the conscious mind is protected while the unconscious mind from which it sprung is withdrawn below the conscious level. This is the same story as symbolized as the fall of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. I'm sorry. Rebellion from the physical brings conflict into the soul, but the soul can remain above it by remaining concealed from the forces of the self will. The beast rising out of the sea is the selfish, animalistic desires that arise, which are capable of ruling humanity, the lower natures that we talked about earlier, the lower aspects of ourselves. These desires spring from the self will of the unspiritual intellect of humanity, whom the world worships as a symbol of material success. It's still the same things. You see how he broke this down? It comes back full circle, like Leah just said. It comes back full circle. We coming right back all the way to the book of Revelations. If you look at it from Edgar Casey's standpoint, it's talking about these very things that we talked about with the precision of the equinox, where we talked about the Kali Yuga and the different ages and the fall of mankind from a high spiritual state down to a low spiritual state. But we can access this godhood within us during any of these ages. Um, for the basics though. Okay, so where were we at? Okay, the human intellect, lacking spiritual orientation, cuts itself off from all that is divine. We cut off from the divine. We just coming back to it. Some people may have never been cut off, but for the most part, we've been programmed. We came into this world. We've been hypnotized. Our subconscious mind has been taken over, through subliminal programming. And this is just going back into what we were going to talk about next year, and I can kind of tie it together, but we were going to talk about reversing the curse and just basically how the influence of this world plays such a role in our human behavior, and including how we think, how we make decisions, how we're influenced, our concept of spirituality, our concepts of God, the religious aspects of it, the programming that we come with. All of these things play a very major role in cutting us off from our divine nature. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the program. And that's the whole point of these different techniques. That's the whole point of gaslighting us. That's the whole point of emotional manipulation and constant stress and worry and prices rising up and the system and people losing jobs and you can't figure out how you're going to survive. All of these things are there to make sure that you never thinking about who am I truly on a spiritual level? Who am I? You see what I'm saying? You see how this all kind of goes together when you look at it from this standpoint of where we're at in humanity? I hope it does. Yeah, the gaslighting, it's unreal because they come with these things and make you think you tripping when you can see it clear as day. But those days are coming to an end if we want them to. The lamb that John sees are the forces of the human. I'm sorry. The lamb that John sees are the forces of the superconscious mind and the world going into action. Babylon, the human desire for earthly riches and success and the gratification of the flesh, begins to be destroyed as humans are shown the consequences of their prostitution of their higher faculties. We've been disconnected from our higher faculties. There you go, sovereign. It's all prophecy. That's what this about. Ancient prophecies. That's what all of this was about. Ancient prophecies and breaking it down and showing that it all leads back to self and the evolution of your mind, of your soul, of getting a deeper connection, of having that connection to spirit, having those downloads, having that information coming to you, walking more towards it, being able to fight the distractions through your protection, through your soul work, through your rituals, through your practices. That's what this was all about. That's why I was hoping that it would come full circle for everybody when I talked about the cosmos and down to the micro level of it. We'll get more into the micro because we're looking at the different things that we're faced with day to day based on these prophecies and the times that we're in. Okay, now, okay, we go back into it. The seven candlesticks, so the seven spirits, that's the symbol that represented perfection, the divine number. Somebody said that earlier, the power of seven, the power of seven. Six represented the imperfection, the number for humanity, the mark of the beast, the unevolved animalistic forces within humans. We're all faced with this because this is the time that we're in. We're all faced with that because these are the times that we're in. That's why we're going to go into the shadow aspect of ourselves and cleaning ourselves up to be able to get be able to get that connection back with the divine. So the unevolved animalistic forces within humans, the lower nature, the lower chakras aspects of us, but it's all part of us. The mark of the lamb, I'm sorry, the evolved divine force that's within humans, the divine force. 666, the unevolved animalistic force affecting the trion nature of humans, body, mind, and spirit. That's Edgar Casey once again. Now, look, there we go on this side. If you look right there, Nostradamus, Edgar Casey, the Bible, the Holy Mother. I haven't even read that, but he got so many prophecies. He's called a sleeping prophet. But seven angels, seven vials of seven plagues, and prostitute riding a seven-headed beast. John is shown seven angels, each of whom holds a vial containing a plague, which they pour upon the earth one at a time. John then sees a woman sitting on a seven headed beast with 10 horns. The woman wears on her forehead the name Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. They're trying to trap us in the bottom three chakras so we cannot rise, but we can come into love and open our heart chakra and continue that light up and out of us. There we go. Just a little break in from Jenny there. Appreciate that. Okay. So John is told the seven heads symbolize the seven mountains on which the woman sits, and the 10 horns symbolize 10 kings. These make war against the lamb and the lamb conquers. Okay, so interpretation. John is seeing within the soul of humanity the collective unconscious. Once again, that the souls of individuals are purified and tested on seven levels of consciousness, symbolized by the seven plagues being poured out of this by the seven angels. When all the seven levels of consciousness have been purified, then and only then can a person control the physical, mental, and spiritual forces within his body. So otherwise, we basically are being controlled by the outside world until we look deeper within ourselves and align our seven chakras, which is everybody's still working on, including myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here saying because I'm reading this that I'm purified to the fullest. I'm just saying what I've learned and what some of these and in the level that I've made it to. I know that these things work. Okay. So we all, so when all seven levels of consciousness have been purified, then and only then can a person control the physical, mental, and spiritual forces within his body. Okay, so physical diseases arise from the misuse of the forces and self gratification of the flesh, wars against universal truth. This brings about the conflict in the world against groups and governments. The end of seven ordeals comes with the humanity's social institutions and concepts collapse, leaving universal truth to be realized. The same prophecy, once again, same prophecy. We have to wake up, we see what we've done, and we realize that we have to make a change or otherwise we're going to be destroyed. And some people are going to be on the timeline of being destroyed. Some people are going to be on the timeline of ushering these times in, that where this change is going to happen. The prostitute of Babylon symbolizes humanity's desire, lust for riches, and gratification of the flesh. The beast it rides on are man made ideas stemming from self gratification. It explained to John that these forces have taken control of the seven spiritual centers of the human body, thereby becoming possessed and ruled. However, as the highest forces of evolving humanity overcome the forces of self, even the 10 basic urges of the body, symbolized by the 10 horns, will in time fulfill the divine pattern. As the divine nature in humanity becomes less realized, society is destroyed by its own hands through self gratification. Woo, that's a lot right there. That's a lot right there. The seven plagues represent the purification and tribulation experienced by souls in order to overcome negative karma. So these are things that we all have to be faced with. That's why I say when you just say peace, love, and light, you're missing a big part of this. You're missing a big aspect of being a human. If it was all peace, love, and light, we wouldn't even be here. If you're still here, we still got a lesson to learn. We still got some purification to go to the expansion of our soul, to get closer with God, with the nature of God. Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. So the seven plagues, the purification of the in tribulation, the trials and tribulations. So don't be so hard on yourself when you're going through these trials and tribulations. Some of these times are in needed in order for your soul to overcome certain karmas or certain things that we may even did in this lifetime. The vials of God's wrath, karma, eye for an eye, sowing and reaping, the consequences of our negative acts. Armageddon, the spiritual conflict within humans. I love the way that they break it down into your own self. False prophet, the self delusion. All right, so chapter 19 through 22, and we're gonna be done with this because I got to get into the shadow. We only got about 30 minutes for the shadow. So let's just finish up right here. So the rejoicing in heaven, and we got to go through this so we can know the new heaven and the new earth. The rejoicing in heaven, the devil thrown into the bottomless pit, a new heaven and new earth. John now sees much rejoicing in heaven in the appearance of Christ. An angel cast the devil into a bottomless pit for 1,000 years. This goes back into that timeline too as well. John then sees a new heaven and a new earth coming into being. Interpretation. What was the final salvation of the bodily, mental, and spiritual forces described within John now are shown to take place in collective humanity? So once again, we went from the macro to the micro, right? From the macro to the micro, to the bigger aspects of everything that's going on, to the micro level of what's going on within ourselves. When humanity recognized the divinity within them as the controlling force in the world, so it doesn't have to be anybody, but we got to balance this thing. It doesn't have to be everybody, but we do have to balance this thing out so we can make sure that the main thing is, on the earth is more of a perspective towards that peace, love, harmony, and a deeper connection with the planet. When humanity recognizes the divinity within them as the controlling force in the world and turns away from their own selfish patterns of living for self alone, the old pattern disappears and the Christ pattern emerges, being a new earth. Once again, The Christ patterns emerges. John is told that the merging of the evolved self with the divine superconscious, which has taken place in John, must also take place in all humanity. Revelation 19:7. The fulfilled pattern of evolved humanity, the Christ, i.e., superconscious mind, is now shown in a position of power, the so-called second coming of Christ. Now, the archetype of humanity's continual rebellions, the self will intellect symbolized as the devil, is confined for a time in the collective unconscious mind. During this period of 1,000 years, the 1,000-year reign of Christ, see, the numbers are different, but it's still going into these different times where we're up, we're down, we're controlled, different things like that. Only the evolved soul will be permitted to incarnate the earth at the end of this period, which is us. You see what I'm saying? This all goes back. Only the evolved souls will be permitted to incarnate the earth. Revelations 20 through 20, chapter 4. At the end of this period, at the end of this period, the remaining souls begin to incarnate, bringing with them their unsatisfied ambitions and desires. This, of course, brings about the former conditions of imbalance, wars, and plagues. These conditions are all man made and are now themselves eliminated, and all mental forms and patterns not formed by the divine will are purged. Once again, the new heaven and new earth John sees is humanity's perfected state of consciousness and regenerated body. The human mind at this point is now one with the divine in the perfection of control and is free from outside limitations, which we are bombarded with at this point. The human conscious mind merges with the superconscious mind. John states that if anyone adds or take away from the book, that this person will experience the place in the book. The book is the body, which is the vehicle for human experience in the world. Through it, the lessons of the soul are learned. There can be no shortcuts or manderings without dire consequences to the body. All right, so okay, and there we go. There we go. The 12 tribes of Israel, 12 gates, 12 angels, 12 foundation, 12 disciple, the 12 basic patterns of the human personality is revealed in the zodiac, the temple of God, the super consciousness, and just different things like that. Just different way of looking at revelations. I hope that helped out with you all. You guys still with me? Ooh, I'm about tired now. I just went. This is going in. This is information. Great, great, great. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad. Okay, so now, all right, guys. Okay, so love all knowledge. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you all sticking with me and everybody just chilling. And we already, how long we been in here? We've been in here almost 2 hours. We're going into the third hour. We're gonna try to end this at 9:30, so you all can get some rest and kind of breathe this off. Go. When you go this deep, sometimes you got to go. Sometimes you got to breathe it off after all of this. And I went into the reversing of the curse because I feel like one of the main things that we can do to defend ourselves during these times is getting more in tune with our spiritual nature, putting that aspect of ourselves first, putting that journey of looking within first, because it's going to only lead us more and more closer to our divine nature. It's only going to bring us more and more closer to a deeper understanding of ourselves and what's our purpose on this world, what's our purpose at this time, what are we doing here, what's going on. Um, it will just give us that when we study more, when we understand the manipulation, when we understand the social constructs, when we understand the mind control and marketing and media and these different things and subliminal messages, then we're able to be able to get closer with our Christ self when we have those distractions moved away from us, because social manipulation has taken to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? So social uh these social engineering patterns and these things that we've been taught to believe a lot of times push us further and further away from our true nature. and and the main thing is really you're really just looking to escape your own mental prison, your own way of putting it. I'm trying to find where we're going next here with it. But hold on. Okay, so all right, so let's reversing the curse is just basically everything that they throw at you, do the opposite of that. If they're throwing out these distractions, do the opposite of that. If they're telling you to eat that, do the opposite of that. Do the things that are not don't follow the crowd as much. Not to tell you what to do, but I'm just saying, if you do these things, you will find yourself in a whole new world of your own. You won't even exist on these same timelines that they were that is affecting so many other people. You can easily be able to unhypnotize yourself when you pay attention to that. One of the good books, also, and someone can write that in the chat here. The A good book to look into just the mind control and the things that they're doing, because I'm pretty sure people that's here already know. But it's called Mind Control 101. It's a great book. It goes into these. It's like a guide to understanding and applying mind control. The applying mind control techniques that help yourself, and also mind control techniques that are used in society, so you'll be able to see through that. So that was Mind Control 101. Thank you, Jenny. That's another book that you can look into. All right, so now let me stop sharing for a moment, because now so we were at the macro level. We went into these just to kind of do a quick recap before we go into the shadow. And I'm going to show you the book that I'm going to give you guys to be able to look into it. I just felt like the shadow needed to be added on to this, because we're talking about all these Christ consciousness and going to the next level, but we also got to work on ourselves. You know what I mean? Y'all with me on that part? That's the hard part, being accountable for yourself in your shadow, right? We got to begin when we talk about shadow work. We got to begin here with the originate, one of the originals of just shadow work, that I feel like he's one of the originals that was part of that, which is Carl Jung, and that's Carl Jung. He was a psychologist in the early 1900s, and he's one of the ones that I really enjoy listening to. I mean, looking at his work, because he goes a little bit further than Freud. He goes into the unconscious, he goes into the shadow, he goes into the ego, the persona, and all these different things like that. And I think that is that's what we need. We need deeper aspects. Hold on, that's the wrong one. We're gonna go back to that one after we get done talking about Carl Jung real quick, and then I'm going to show you the shadow work book and what shadow work is, and then we're going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up. If I had another hour, I'll probably go further, but we're going to wrap it up after that. Okay, let me get this up real quick, guys. Shadow work. I think this is it. Okay. Okay, perfect. Can you guys see that? You should be able to see that working with the shadow. All right, perfect. All right, so like I was saying, Carl Jung. Carl Jung may have died in 1961, but his work continues to be directly influential on our understanding of the human psyche, especially when it comes to the transpersonal psychology. You may be thinking that it is something you've never heard of and definitely don't follow, but transpersonal psychology just refers to all of the states of consciousness that exist beyond the personal level of our psyche. This means what exists in our personal unconscious, the collective unconscious, and how we interact with cultural archetypes. Does that make sense? And we still on the same page with that, everybody? Because I know we're going into the psychology now. We're going into the transpersonal psychology, and like I said, he breaks down our interaction with it all. Okay, okay, just making sure y'all good. All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Sama. Everything is everything. I wish I had my lady Sajai Somber. She and my wife there. She's in here, but she usually would have had a song for y'all. But she at work. She working right now, I guess. But okay, so comes to transpersonal psychology. So it's talking about everything, like how we exist. For the sake of our work here, the shadow is the part of our psyche that we consider negative and undesirable, but this part functions in part of a greater whole. Here's the simple version, what it looks like. If you can see that, I'm going to send you guys this as well. So that's the outer world, our inner world, consciousness, our personal unconscious, the collective unconscious. And these are the different aspects of self: persona, ego, self, shadow, anima, and animus. Okay. Jenny already know a beautiful voice. Thank you. Let her know, you guys, if you heard her sing before. But okay, so those are the different parts of it. If you see that chart there, now let's break that down. So the ego. Let's start with the ego. So this is Jung's definition of it. Jung's definition of refers to the story we tell about ourselves. The ego is how Jung defines the conscious mind. Once again, the conscious mind is seem to be that one that is very deceitful, I see. All of our thoughts, emotions, and memories that we have in awareness. It's our identity and our understanding of our storyline across time. And at any time, you can change this ego. At any time, you can change this storyline and these thoughts that you think to yourself. The next one is the persona. The persona is our outward simplified expression of the ego. It's essentially our public expression of our personality and our training to be obedient to expectations. The persona. We all know about the persona. That's almost like the mask you have to wear, your persona, who you have to be at work, who you have to be to your family, who you have to be, show up to the world. We all have to face these things. Anybody that says they're not, they lying to you, because we all got a persona, we all got a way that we stand, and a story that we tell ourselves. The next one is that guy, the shadow, and that's what we're going to focus on. The shadow. The shadow is purely the emotional aspect of our personality that lies in opposition to the ego. According to Jung, the shadow lies outside of the conscious mind and has its own level of autonomy. And that's so important, that it has its own level of autonomy, meaning that the shadow can have a mind of its own. The shadow can take over. The shadow, and I talk about that in my book, when you win and when you write within, and we're going to talk about that next when we talk about the things that happen when you don't work on your shadow, like in the deeper aspects of it. So it can take on a mind of its own when we don't handle it. So that's why we're talking about it today. Anima and animus. Jung expressed that within our unconscious are qualities that are traditionally thought to belong to individuals of the gender opposite of our own. So this is divine feminine, divine masculine nature. But he felt it is important to integrate the aspects of our personality that are our anima or animus in order to be fully whole and authentic. Jung didn't write about individuals who existed outside of the gender binary, and that's another part of it there. Let me see. But yeah, that's basically just like the feminine and masculine aspect of every human being. And then he talked about the self. Jung referred to a person who has overcome the limitations of their persona, recognized their ego consciousness, and moved beyond it to embrace their shadow. And this is the fulfilled self, like we were talking about. Like we started off in the golden age, then brought it down to a micro level. This is balancing all aspects of yourself: the divine feminine, masculine, your ego, your persona, and your shadow, and you bring it in, and then you notice the God within. Y'all referred to it as the God within us. It's being your authentic self. Now, like this is the aspect of it here. And what's the point of working with the shadow? Young stated, until you make the unconscious conscious. I love this quote right here. I love this quote right here. Somebody write this in the chat after I say it. I love this quote right here. I love this quote. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So many people are doing that. Until you make the unconscious unconscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That's what most people that say they got bad luck, all these different things, but a lot of times they haven't worked with their unconscious self. They haven't worked with their shadow. They are creating these things on their outside reality because they haven't worked with their unconscious. And it's consequences to that, just like we talked about in the book of Revelations. When we repress pain, repress our emotional self and the balance that balances our public facing self, we cause continued harm to ourselves and others. When Jung said that integrating the shadow is vital to being our integrated, authentic self, he was saying, okay, so basically, we are less likely to engage in destructive behaviors. We have better boundaries with those around us. Our relationships are better because we better understand and accept ourselves and others. Our communication skills improve. Our physical health improves because we are not carrying the types of psychic pain. So, meaning stress, the overwhelming feeling of thoughts, things that emotions that can wear on you. Notice they said psychic pain, thought forms, all of these things. So that cause damage to the body when we don't work on our shadow. Okay, so here, and I'm going to send you all this. Like I said, these are just some shadow work questions for introspection to kind of go deeper into it. And we also want to have a shadow work workbook, and I'm going to discuss that a little bit. But I wanted to go, let me just say a couple of them. What have you held a grudge about the longest? What kind of rational fears most likely hold you back? Different deep questions. Like when you answer these, like we had a challenge recently in my group. I don't know if you guys are a part of that. In the group on Instagram, we had a challenge where each day, some people were part of that. For 5 days we had different shadow work questions, and I was doing it, man. I wrote like 7 pages or something like that. I was just going in. When you start tuning into that and you start doing things like journaling and shadow work and asking yourself these deeper questions, you'll be surprised how many things that you're holding within yourself. Like, you'll be surprised what kind of answers you will get, and it'll be emotional, it will be overwhelming, it will hurt, but when you come out of there, you'll be on that other side, and it will be amazing. So what kinds of irrational fears are most likely? These different things. What are your bad habits? Just different questions to ask yourself. Now, this isn't just for psychology sake. This is all going back to those ancient prophecies that we talked about. This is all going back to getting the divine aspect of yourself and going past the materialistic aspect of self and going further within. What kind of lies do you tell yourself? In what ways are you regularly hypocritical? Things that we don't even want to talk about, but keep it to yourself. And this is good for you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You guys will get that, so you'll be able to see that. Now, shadow work meditation. Someone messaged me earlier, and they wanted to speak on meditation. I'm sorry if we don't have enough time, but I can at least go over this aspect of it. One of the things I want to say about meditation, because meditation plays a role in all of these things that we talked about, because meditation gives you that chance to be able to move away from that conscious mind, be a way to move away from that ego self, and be able to channel the divine. Now, a lot of times when meditation and people start meditation, that's when all those shadow thoughts come up. That's when those deeper rational fears. That's when those insecurities come up. That's when those toxic thoughts come up. That's when those crazy thoughts come up. That's when even the animalistic thoughts come up. But that's okay. That's okay. So people like to stop at that point and like to say, "Oh, I must be doing meditation wrong." But in actuality, you are actually clearing your way. You're clearing your way through your shadow, and you're going into those deeper parts of yourself. And the more you do this, the more you get used to this, and the more that you do these meditations, you will be able to understand the different voices, and the voice of the divine will get clearer. And that's when you get just simple insights like, maybe I should come out with this course. Maybe I should talk about this video. Hey, maybe I should sign up for this program. Maybe I should start spending money here. That's the thing with meditation. Make it simple as you can. Make it simple where you spend time with yourself, because that divine is always there. And that's what we've been talking about the whole time. That disconnect is coming from that material. material world. I hope that was the message that someone needed about meditation, though. Um, yeah, yeah, because that's what I felt like I needed to say to you. But we'll if you want to go into deeper, just inbox me. I'll go deeper into it. We have meditations. Like I was saying, me and Sovereign did the sound bowl meditations and these different things like that. But this is a shadow work meditation, coming from Carl Jung here that he did, and it was basically one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. There we go. By making it, don't feel bad about those thoughts. I don't care how crazy it is. I don't care how what it is. You've been programmed. Ooh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. You've been programmed. Think about all the things that have been bombarded. Think about all the things that we've seen on television, all the negative imagery, all these things that are going on in our mind, and then we decide to sit with ourselves, and the next thing you know, you just feel all these thoughts and all these negative things and this low vibrational thoughts. But that's okay because you're bringing the darkness to the conscious. That's what this shadow is about. It's not about being scared of your own self. This is one of the things that Brother Panic said to me said on a video I was watching in Bobby Hemmett. He said, "Why be afraid of this when it's you? All of this is you. How can you be afraid of yourself? Even if you see crazy figures, dark figures, and these things like that, it's you. It's an aspect of yourself. It might be a trauma that has became an entity. It might be your deepest, lowest thoughts became an entity, and you might be seeing that. And instead of being afraid, face it and let it be known that you have the power, and it's something that you may have created. There we go. How can you be afraid of yourself? And that's what I got. Now when I go in, and I remember I used to look up this information and look up knowledge, I used to start getting these voices in my head like, you shouldn't be looking at that. The programming of religion and things like that used to come up. But I said, why be scared? These are my thoughts. Why be scared? If I stay scared, I'm going to stay at this same program, because that's the main thing that they use. They use fear to keep us locked in to that same program, so you never get these type of insights. But now you guys ain't scared at all. Y'all here, we here. But okay, so this is how the meditation goes. So you, the same way we did before, you take some deep abdominal breaths. Just keep doing that, and feel into your uncomfortable emotion. Where is it in your body? What sensations are you experiencing? Be sure to ask yourself, what are these emotions and sensations trying to teach me? What do I need to understand about this situation? What do I need to understand about these emotions that are coming up? What is it trying to tell me? Now, you might not get the answer the first time, but it's a necessary practice. Keep practicing at it, and you'll see how different this becomes. The next part of it here, so then from there, you let your sensations and emotions move and shift. Notice they do this without curiosity instead of judgment. Like I said, don't judge yourself, don't judge your thoughts, because that's the main thing that's been doing on the outside. Now you're judging yourself on the inside. Nobody else is here to hear your thoughts. Don't worry about that. Don't feel bad. Don't think you're a bad person. Realize that you're actually a good person, because you're stepping into your power and you're stepping up to your own shadow. Jot down any observations you made or insights you had. That's part of it. Okay. Now, so we'll do this part, then I'm going to go into the shadow work book just to kind of show y'all what that looks like, and then we'll wrap it up. Y'all good? Y'all good with the wrap up? Y'all think y'all got a lot of information? We still good? We still good? You guys feel fulfilled with it so far? I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure this was good information, and it all ended up lining up at the end, and it wasn't scattered. That's my main thing. Enlightened and perfect. Okay, thank you. Man, I love that. I love that. I couldn't wait to get this knowledge off. I could not wait to get this knowledge off. I was sitting with it for the last couple of weeks, and I was like, I can't wait to express this to everyone. That's signing up for the class. I want to thank y'all again here. Okay, but let's go into this. This is a good practice. I thought this was very interesting and something that you can use. So it's called TIP. It's like TI 24 till. Okay, so tip schools skills. We think of the brain as sending information to the body, but in fact, the body is also sending information to the brain. Also sending information to the brain on a continuous basis. Um, Stephen Porges, the polyvagal theory guy, says that while the message stream from the brain to the body is a one lane road, and the message stream from the body to the brain is a four lane road. Okay, so tip skills are designed to have the body use the four lanes of information to the brain in order to manage overwhelming emotions. So, like I said, this can be overwhelming while you're doing this. So, T, this is things that the body would that will happen in the body. So T stands for temperature, meaning doing something to introduce a temperature change to the body. Some people use ice, either holding it in their hand to shock their system a bit, or holding it in place on their body that had been a self injury spot for them in the past. Some people will dunk their heads in a bowl of ice water for literally immersive effects. It invokes the dive reflex in the body, slowing down the whole system to preserve the energy, which keeps the body alive when submerged in cold water. Now, I do these type of things. This is all to get your body to feel good. I do these type of things in the shower. Sometimes when you switch the shower from cold to hot, you can slow the body down. You might feel that that feeling there, but that's basically like the preserve the energy, which the body keeps the cold from the cold water, and it slows down the body freak out when in panic mode. And since people don't respond well to ice, or they have medical condition make using ice dangerous, so that option may not happen for some. But a safer option engage in temperature change in the opposite direction, such as taking a warm hot bath or shower. That's basically what I was talking about before. So things like changing your temperature of your body can, let's just say vibration, it can calm you down. When you take that shower, when you're dealing with emotions, people say, you need to take a cold shower, things like that. This because your system, your body, your emotions is communicating with your body, and your system, needs to calm down. Get out of that panic mode, or get shocked in the panic mode and then calm down. That's why people do ice baths and things like that. Number I, so stands for intense. So meaning intense exercise, short burst of exercise that is good for getting the heart pumping and detoxifying some of these stress hormones. So running around the block, doing jumping jacks, turning on a song and dancing around, whatever's good for you. It doesn't cause any pain or any injuries. So intense. All of this is going into your shadow work. All of this is part of the shadow work, like I said, because you're going to be dealing with intense emotions, and these are ways to deal with those emotions. So exercise is a good one. P stands for progressive, and this case is progressive relaxation. There's a ton of ways of doing progressive relaxation, but essentially you are mindfully focused on one area of your body at a time and relaxing when you're tense. So this goes back into that meditation and things like that, feeling your body, doing a body scan, feeling these emotions, letting them go through your body, and your body will speak to you. Okay. All right. So these are some of the references. You'll be able to look at this. I'm going to send you this. Okay. Now let's stop sharing that. We got 15 more minutes. Let me go into the simplified version of the shadow book here so you guys know what you got here. Okay. And then the next thing is the Shadow Work Journal. Oh yeah, and this another book that I meant to oh gosh, I meant to tell you this when I'll go back to that. Okay, but the copy because we're talking about the shadow work here, but it's another book and it's fire. It's called the Meta Revelations, and you guys going to enjoy that. It's like 233 pages, but it's the Book of Revelation, the new metaphysical version, a manual describing the unfoldment of our Christ nature. Oh, it's good. It's a good book. and you're gonna get that as well. But okay, so this right here, I'm just kind of going over what's next. We pretty much are done with the course here, but I'm just gonna show you what you know kind of what you're gonna be getting, what shadow work entails. This is your shadow work journal. The book belongs to you. It'll be an ebook, of course, so you can print this out however you want to do it. It goes over the shadow work, how to do shadow work. If you're not, if that wasn't enough, we kind of went over what the shadow is, but the shadow work involves exploring the unconscious aspects of self that are often hidden or denied. It can be challenging process, but it gives you great insights because you can identify your shadows. You take time. It gives you more power because you're able to get over those traumas. Those behaviors don't hold you back anymore. They may be uncomfortable, but they try, and we try to hide them from others and things like that. But this is something that we have to be faced with here. We have to be faced with our shadow. But let's see. Okay, and then how to do shadow work. It goes into that, exploring your shadow, accepting your shadow. We talked about that, and just how to do shadow. We got prompts. How did I lose my innocence as a child? I mean, this is deep. This is deep stuff. This is deep stuff. So take your time with it. When I think about my future, when I'm most afraid, let's kind of just close our eyes and see what it lands on, to see what revelation we get. Let's do a little bit of bibliomancy, they call it, where you just randomly push it. So I'm pushing the thing, la da 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 da. Patterns. Okay, we landed on patterns. So you see, you can do the identifying the trigger patterns, behaviors I display that feel unhealthy. Got all these writing room. You guys gonna? I hope you guys gonna do that. Temporary discomfort in exchange for a lifetime of ease. That's right. That's right. Temporary. It's so temporary because once you hit it face on or head on, next thing you realize, like, hold up, this isn't even as bad as I thought it was. This is not. This is something that I should have been done. I was letting small things hold me back that I didn't need to. That's what you're going to learn with this. But it goes over to your limiting the beliefs, the acceptance of yourself. All of these things are going back to, like we said before, the macro to the micro. And I feel like of course, there's more to this, with the journey of going within. But I feel like the shadow is the foundation where a lot of people need to begin, because you got to forgive yourself for that pain. You got to forgive yourself for all these things you've been through, writing a letter of love to yourself. And this will take you off of some of those blocks that have you have been faced with. Okay. All right, so you'll get that book and you can do that on your own there. You're also going to get that Edgar Casey book that's going to go more into those Jesus the revelations and those things. And just check out some of Edgar Casey online. We also went into Carl Jung. You'll get the shadow work in the unconscious aspect. Oh yeah, can't wait to get into that love letter, man. It's gonna take you to another level. Like, it's just so much. It's just so much, and it's just so good to be able to deal with your psychological aspects of yourself and going further and working at a micro level, and then being able to step out to the world as a new person, as an evolved being. Okay, now let me stop sharing that real quick. And then I want to, now this is the last book here that I did want to share with you guys too, because I should have went over this. I meant to go over this when I was talking about Edgar Casey in the Book of Revelations, because this is another book that I found. You welcome, Sovereign. Thank you for all the game. You welcome, brother. You welcome. But this is the book, if you can see it there. Let's see. Yeah, the Book of Revelations. You'll get this. The Book of Revelation, New Metaphysical Version, a manual of describing the unfoldment of our Christ nature. Reverend Bill Holton, PhD. I'm not even sure who that is or anything, but I've read a majority of the book, a lot of it, and I just thought it was just amazing. Amazing the way that they break down the metaphysical aspect of Revelation, being the Alpha and the Omega. These are some of the chapters. See, we go in the Tree of Life. Um, We go into our desire for, just the seven chakras open. So it's kind of like a deeper aspect of what we went over with the Edgar Casey. But I just want to kind of read this part here to it. It's generally been positioned as an enigmatic, eschatological book of prophecy written entirely in symbols to predict events that will occur at the end of the world. Biblical scholars also see it as a viewpoint that holds that Revelation outlines events that occurred. But here on this, we're going to take a more metaphysical view that differs radically from the externally focused views mentioned above. It examines the metaphysical and symbolic aspects of revelations, and the way that you use this book is interesting because it's like it's different sections here. It's not the typical book, so it's like chapter one, the introduction to the unfolding of our innate Christ nature. Let me read a little bit of this since we got about 10 minutes here, because just to let you know what you about to get into. The unveiling, which we talked about, the veil is lifted, and going into the veil has lifted. That's what all this was about. This is about the times that we're in. That's the reason why so much is being revealed. That's why we seeing P. Diddy going to jail. That's why we seeing digital forms. That's why we seeing spirituality changing. That's why we seeing health conscious people, more people meditating, more information like this, all because we're unfolding into a divine nature and the veil is being revealed and lifted. Of our Christhood is underwritten, given by God, by our capacity to become fully aware of our divine nature, as demonstrated by the Christ as Jesus. And each now moment must shortly come to pass, soon take place. They go over the scripture that it is there deep within our souls. He made it known. We know this because that universal knowledge is in our spiritual DNA. We are the image of the universal love that is the ground of all being. And then it just keeps going, and it just keeps going. Like the spiritual map enlightenment manual you are holding will be very helpful if you have moved beyond the embedded theology of your youth and applied testify everything you have learned about the Christ nature, assimilating higher knowledge. Blessed is the one who reads and hears prophecy. I think we should end it on that. I think we should end it on that. The author of this is actually Reverend. Let me see. I'm sorry. It's Reverend. What was his name here? Reverend Bill Holton, PhD. I have no idea of any of his other teachings. I found this book online looking around, so I have no idea what else he teaches or anything like that. But I know that what I've read so far, I liked it. But I think that's where we need to end it, though, right here on this point right here. Assimilating higher knowledge. Blessed is the one who reads and hears prophecy. I love it. And dutifully applying it. Okay, well, it's more to that. Blessed is the one who reads and hears prophecy and dutifully applying it. Take it to the heart. Keep those things which are written. Prepare us for a moment of enlightenment, which can come in an instant. If you have opened this manual, you know that we humans cannot stop and remain indefinitely at any point on our way toward enlightenment. Stand still means stagnation, delay, and decay. But I like that part right there. Assimilating higher knowledge. Blessed is the one who reads and hear prophecy. All right, guys. I think that's it. I think that's a wrap on the ancient. The veil has lifted. Ancient prophecies in shadow work. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that was the knowledge that you needed. We vibrate higher after that. We got a deeper understanding of what timeline we on. We got a deeper understanding of the shadow. You guys got some homework to do after this where you can go deeper into your own understanding of this and getting a deeper understanding of the insights that you'll get without me just talking to you the whole time. So all of this is great. And I'm actually all the way tired right now. I am tired, boy. Like giving this information off is like it's a lot. Like it's a lot, and I love it though. I love it. I appreciate everybody that stuck with me. I thank you all for sticking around. You just channeled so much. You right, Sovereign. That's what it feel like. Like once I get this done, like the way that ended just then, man, that was so real. Blessed is the one that reads and hears prophecy and put it into action. That's a message for me, and that's a message for you. Any questions? Anything? Anybody want to build on anything? Anybody want to come off mute or say anything before we go? It's up to y'all. I appreciate y'all. Or write anything in the chat. Any questions? Anything you want to say?
Bro, you did such a good job. That was amazing. I enjoyed myself and I appreciate
Appreciate
all
that.
of
I
the
know that voice.
tidbits,
That's
all the new
soft. I
knowledge, and
appreciate you,
all the
brother. I thank you
affirmations on
again for
knowledge
being here.
that I had
And
previously.
next
You
time
are
they
him.
they get
Thank
to be
you.
blessed with some of your knowledge. The young brother has a lot to say. And oh, no doubt, bro. No doubt. You know it. Allison say she can't wait.
I
Sovereign
appreciate
people
you,
waiting
bro.
on
I
you.
appreciate you pouring
Y'all
in.
follow
I
my brother
appreciate that very much.
Renzo. He on the way. He on the way. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You got anything you want to drop on the people though, Sovereign, before we go? Just a message that you might
I'm
have
on
got
the
or
way.
anything
I'm
like
on
that?
the way. Yo, I'm on the way. A lot of the prophecies that you were speaking on gave so much insight towards what we may be feeling but not able to express. I think that you
Hmm.
bringing it into a space to put detail and words onto what we may have been feeling but not knowing exactly what it was just gave so much empowerment. And then for you to end it the way that you did,
Hmm.
blessed be those who, and that's something in the Bible as well. Like, Papa may have, Mother may have, but God bless each child that has his
Hmm.
own. It's like a remix. It's like blessed be those that read the prophecies and then find themselves adhering to the prophecies and then applying it. Now it's our space of time to apply it. We didn't know exactly what we were feeling before. We may
Hmm.
not have been able to express into words or details, or maybe we didn't even think that we would be able to, have a conversation and speak with Ricky Prestige. For you to be here and to give us this floor and this opening and this channel and this portal with one another, over 20 people in here with one
Hmm.
another, just to be able to have this group and to make our own little celestial universe right now in this body is it's no small feat. It's no small feat. So now, like you said, us taking what we've learned right now in that energy and then running with that as we go back into our own individual portals and our own individual universes until we meet up again with you or with one
Hmm.
another or with others that are in this collective consciousness and in this mind that is growing so expansively and so
Hmm.
quick because the mind started was 2012. You know what I mean? Now it's looking like 2025 is the end of another time and the beginning of something. And just because of, everything that's happening, elections and P. Diddy and so much coming to the forefront of it all. But yo, y'all, we are not sleep. We are not silly. We're not stupid. We're not crazy.
You
It's all
win when you.
making plenty sense. The veil has been
Hmm.
lifted. Do that shadow work. The brother just gave us an awesome journal. I just ordered um Oh, what you only win when you write within. When you win, exactly. Thank you. You win when you write within. I've read Mind Alignment 1 and 2. If you haven't already, get those. Mind Alignment 1.0 and then 2.0. Fantastic books of paradigm shift of the subconscious and super consciousness of the black mind. Ricky went in and he does his thing. He is the truth. That last sound bowl cleansing that we had was so powerful. I was on them sound bowls and I didn't even have control of my body no more. Ricky was in there giving these affirmations and speaking to the family. Songbird was in there doing her thing. I am beautiful.
Yeah.
Hashem, Hashem. It was so much fun. Like he said, like spirituality and consciousness, it is such a good time, and it
I
is so
appreciate that,
fun.
Sovereign.
It
You
is
always
so
got a word. I
empowering,
already knew
and
you had a
anybody
way to
can
put
do it,
it,
and we're doing
to
it,
break
and
it
I'm
down
grateful
for
that
me.
people
Yeah,
are doing it.
that was
Let's
my
get it
main
done.
goal, to bring that
Ashe.
clarity, because they tried to play us for a long time. They tried to make us think we was going crazy, and then I was like, let me look in some of these books and some of these prophecies, and let's see what's really going on with this timeline. And I hope that's what that gave y'all. I hope you continue on your journey, continue on with the prophecy, and like it said, the person that reads and hears prophecy will be blessed, especially if you put it into action. Shay. All right. Anybody else before we go, before we let this night in? All right. All right. Oh yeah, that too. Once you do your shadow work, your manifestations come faster. That's real. Your whole life changes. Your whole life changes because you don't have all those blocks. So yeah. All right. Good night, everyone. I appreciate you all, and I thank you, Minx. I thank you, Leah. I thank you, Miss Ross. I thank you, Miss Rose. More want to say bye and be an extra, but yeah, I thank you, Sovereign. I appreciate you, Janelle. I appreciate everybody that participated. And I'll be sending you all an email. You probably get in the next 2 to 3 days with all the material as well as this recording. So I thank you again, and I appreciate you all. And catch me on the ground. Peace, family. Y'all have a good one.